start. But before we do, just like I've mentioned, I wanted to just give us a genesis why we need this financial literacy. Hosea 4:6 says that my people perish because of what? Because of lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. There are other versions that say lack of insight. So that perish could mean death, but it could also mean death of dreams, death of purpose, okay? And one of the failures of our generation is, the failure of seeking knowledge. We have so much time for so many things. We can scroll through TikTok all day. But to pick up a book, to come to, a breakfast like this where there's knowledge, you do not find so many young people. But we would like to change that here at Omega Healing Center. Because we turn to neighbor and tell them, you are the next in line. Some of us feel we are so far away. When you begin to see most of our seniors, leaving positions of power, leaving positions of ministry, then you just need to know that you're next in line. So if you're next in line, you need to be equipped with the knowledge you need. Okay? So many of the young people feel that when they go to school, it's automatic that after school you are actually going to get a job. But it is not so. For some of you who are already in the working environment, you know how hard it is for some of our friends, some of our brothers and sisters to get jobs. Yeah? So the generation we are getting into is one where each and every one of us is going to have take the initiative of starting up something that is income generating. Now, there are two things that you lack if you are to get to that position of being a person that starts up something that's income generating. The first thing is you lack knowledge. Yeah? How do I start? So many people ask themselves that question. Yeah? How do I start? Then the second thing that you lack are the resources to start. As young people, you probably have not worked yet. You do not have savings. You do not have. So those are the two things that stop the generation, the young generation. You may have a lot of time. You may have a lot of energy, but you lack knowledge and you lack resources. So to bridge that gap, the knowledge gap, you need to hear from people who have been there before. You need to hear from people who have held the hands of those who started business and are now successful, which is why we have initiated a financial literacy breakfast. Hallelujah. Then secondly, this thing called resources, for me, I think it's a fallacy, because there are so many people who have money out there but have not started anything. So you can have money, but when you do not start. Yeah? So after you've acquired the knowledge, the second thing that needs to happen is you need to work on what they call social capital, or getting connected. And so what we want to start here in Omega is knowing each other's businesses, is knowing each other's work. Because your customer could be just seated next to you. Yeah, look at them, just stand, look at them. Your customer could just be seated next to you. Yeah? And so when we start up such fora, such groups, and we begin to understand what each one does, it becomes easier for us. Yeah? So please, as you sit next to that person, get their contact, because that person is very critical and crucial. Hallelujah. Out here, out when you just leave this place, you will need them. Okay? So it is out of this fora that we are going to continue to cultivate what we call social capital, knowledge, technical know-how, and then the habits that will help us financially. The habit of saving, the habit of investment, and the like. So without wasting so much time, our first speaker of the day, just like I've introduced her, is a very, very astute, financially literate lady. She has done this that she's going to teach us for, we were talking and she was telling me, over 10 years. So she is going to speak from experience. She has a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. She's held the hands of many, including myself. When I was just about to make a decision on what to invest in, how to save, I contacted her, and she's been of great help to date on, the knowledge concerning financial markets and all of that. So she's going to introduce herself further, but I would like us to give a round of applause, a big round of applause as she comes, welcoming Sulaina Kajingo. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. That was a very nice introduction. Can we warm up? Stand up and hug your neighbor. At least hug 2 people. Yes. Hug 2 people. I am counting. 2 people. Yeah, hug 2 people, please. Yeah. Okay, I can see some of you really love hugging. You're hugging more than 2. And you tell them that Jesus loves them. Yeah. Martin, please help me here. Good morning once again. Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. I love the energy in the room. Thank you for the invite. I'm very delighted to be part of you today. My name is Sulaina Kajingo. I'm a financial advisor, like he had said, for the last 10 years. I started at 23. Don't count my age. I'm still a sweet 16. Yeah, so I've been speaking investments since then, and acquiring more and more knowledge so I can empower young people. I made a lot of mistakes starting out, and I feel like very many people my age and older have made some mistakes, and the best way to make a difference is by educating more people, and such platforms are my favorite space to be in, because I feel like I share more knowledge with younger people, and you're the future of this generation. Yeah, you're the people taking on the next big jobs, and I believe you're sure and you're very delighted to take on those positions. Yeah, I'm very sure we're here to learn from one another. I'm also learning along the way, so I'm happy to be here. Be free to note down any questions along the way. I'll be speaking about what I do at Old Mutual Investments, the different products we have, but also sharing more nuggets on how we can get ready for these. It's one thing to know that there are products out there, but maybe you're not ready. What do you do when you're ready? So the goal for me here is to educate you so that when you're ready, you know who to reach out to and where to go. Yeah? So this is my agenda for the day. I'll be talking about fixed income trading that involves treasury bills and bonds. I don't know if these are things we've heard about. Yeah. I'll be talking about unit trusts. These are open-ended investments, endowment plans, last expenses, and then we'll have the Q&A. So these are questions I usually ask young people. They help you understand why you're in this room and what to pick out from such a conversation. Are you a parent? If you're a parent in this room, just put up your hand. This is for you. Yeah, thank God you're here. You had forgotten. Yeah, are you a money-making machine in your family? There are people where if anything happened to a family member right now, you're the first person they call to send at least 50K so they can at least walk the person to the hospital or even start treatment or anything. You're the first person they reach out to, and you need to have the money. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're in sleep, they expect money from you. Do you take care of aging parents? Most of us here are now young adults, and I mean the generation before us is expectant that you need to be paying back in a certain way. We're still struggling with black tax, so we need to figure out generational wealth when we are still young, so you don't expect so much from your children and the ones younger. But since you're in a position where you're looking after the aging parents, you need to be supportive. Yeah, God blesses those who support their parents. Do you have NSSF? And if you do not, this still helps you. Not everyone benefits from NSSF, but even those that do, there is a time frame within which you can benefit from your NSSF, so we can support you, have plans where you can start benefiting earlier. So you don't have to be fighting and complaining where you can't get your money before 55. Does your bank account at the end of the year close with at least 10% of your total income? Or it closes at 0? Or even at the end of the month, are you the people who are working in debt? Yeah? Yeah, because it's possible to be in a place where your salary comes and all of it is going out because you got a loan somewhere, you have someone's money. Yeah? So let's look at the bigger picture. At the end of the year, do you at least live like a 10%? Those are questions to answer yourselves. If you lost your source of income today, God forbid, would you continue with your current lifestyle for at least the next 3 years? Okay, the next 3 months. The next week. Yeah. Would you still live in that house you're living in today? Would you afford the rent the next day if you didn't have income for that month? Yeah? Yeah, so the reason these companies exist is to prepare ourselves for that. Yes, we pray, but also you need to act. God gives you wisdom, and this is how you use it. How much money do you contribute in condolences? Mabugo or weddings? Yeah. Yesterday, I just sent someone 250 for their contribution. Their introduction is today, and I knew I couldn't make it. And I realized I needed to contribute. This is a friend of 10 years. So this is not the only reason I couldn't attend, also location. But then I was thinking about it. If I have such friends every week, and I have to contribute that much, what does that mean? Yeah. That's an expense that you also need to plan for. Because you don't need to be the bad friend. You'll also need to wed, and you'll need contributions from them. So it's a vicious cycle of being supportive. Do you have passive income? What is passive income to you? Can someone tell us what passive income means to them?
Good morning, everyone. I'm basing on my personal thinking. Passive income. What I think of when someone talks about passive income is gross income. You know that money you first get before you put it into usage, before you save, before you invest, before you spend. The gross income. I think that's.
Praise God. What I think of passive income
is income that you earn when you're not actively working, where your money is working for you and you earn something.
Okay, we can all clap. Okay, we can all clap for him. He has the most right answer, but all the answers are correct. So what is passive income? Passive income is when you don't need to be active, when you could go to bed, travel to Hawaii, and your bank account is still credited. Yeah? Yes, and money still comes through. You don't need to do anything. It could be miracle money, but the money comes. It could be your parents sending money or your pastor saying, you're a nice girl. You really sang very well. You sang very well on Sunday. Then they put money. Or you really supported on the other breakfast. You were very supportive, or you were the first person in the room. They put the money. Or you worked so hard. You have building somewhere, and every month, rent comes through. You did the hard work many years ago, and now it's paying back. That is passive income. In that point, you're not doing so much, but the money is still coming through. That is when you start realizing wealth. You don't say you're wealthy when you have to wake up in the morning and make the money. If you have to wake up in the morning to make money, that's when I ask those questions. Do you have to work for that? Would you have income coming through if you lost your job for 3 years? Now, if you don't have passive income, that is impossible for you because you're not working. Yeah. If you lose your job, everything goes down south. You start figuring out miracles. Even when you are not going to church, you start being the first person in church that time because you want miracles. Yeah, so I feel like every individual starts realizing wealth when they have passive income. But while you're realizing wealth, what are you doing for your emergencies in life? Emergencies like disability, it could be death, it could be loss of a relative, it could be a function, it could be anything. Those emergencies that happen, how do you handle them? And what are the emergencies? We all know that life is unpredictable, yeah? Anything can happen, yeah? We do not, today wasn't promised. There is no guarantee that everyone woke up this morning, yeah? There are people who did not, but here you are. So if anything had happened last night and maybe you woke up in hospital, what happens? Is there a bank balance on your account to support that? Does your company provide medical insurance? Do you have medical insurance as an individual? Do you have a social network that will support? Yeah? Support doesn't only come financially, but sometimes it's a friend you've created. The church community that you're part of, yeah? That also supports you. So what are you doing in this life, in this generation, to make yourself prepared for such situations? Yeah, so it's very important for you to think about that. When you have an emergency fund, it also prevents you from having random debt. If anything came up and you needed financial support, you're not going to borrow from someone because there is a small bag where you've been keeping some money and it's been growing and now you need it to support you at that point in time. It also gives you peace of mind. The most people struggling with random heart attacks are people who are struggling either with debt or there is a financial obligation they have to handle and they're struggling to look for that money. Yeah? It's very easy for you to just collapse because you don't know what should happen the next day. It also empowers you for opportunity. Yeah? Your neighborhood could have someone selling land and initially it was 500 million and now they are selling it at 300. The person with the 300 million that day will take the deal. Whoever doesn't have it can't even think about it. They'll just walk like they didn't hear about that opportunity coming through because it's not for them. It also gives you financial discipline. A person who creates a habit when they are young of putting aside 10,000 every month has higher chances of growing wealth over a given period of time because it's a culture they've built. 10,000 could be your 10% of your income this year, but next year it could be 10 million. The other year it could be 100 million. So the more you create the habit of putting aside an income and not using everything that you make, it's easier for you to grow financially. So at Old Mutual, we recognize that every individual out here is working so hard to protect the three major priorities in their lives, and that's your family. It's the biggest priority in your life. It includes friends, it includes children, spouses, relatives, parents. All those are under your family. These are the people you care for. These are the people you want to see happy. You want to see them in good health. You pray for them every day. When they tell you right now to start praying, the first thing you will think about is, oh, is my wife okay? Or my children, where are they? My mother, my father. So insurance also figures that they can support you with that. They can help you protect your family. Your income, we all work so hard or go to school to excel and get good jobs or start good businesses so we can make money and be able to support our families. And then we start acquiring property. So you need to protect that building that you're putting up. You need to protect the car. You can't be driving a car without insurance in it. It means that if anything happened or a tree fell on it, you need to buy a new car. What's the guarantee that you have the money the next day to buy that same car? So when you protect it, this is you protecting yourself, but also when you have an emergency fund, you're able to get back what you had that you've lost. So we also know that there are 3 major risks in this life, that is death, old age, and total permanent disability, and we help you protect those. These are facts of life. We can't run away from them. A death must happen. Every year that goes by, I just mentioned, I've been in this business for 10 years, and you people laughed at me. I won't forgive you. Yeah, so every year that passes, every time you're celebrating a birthday, it means you're getting older. It means your expenses increase. It means your needs increase and your responsibilities increase. For the young people, for us who are not warned, I'm warning you. So you need to plan early, not as a threat, but you could live a better life. So you're proud of yourselves and your community is proud of you. Total and permanent disability, these are things that happen to anyone, yeah? It is everyone in hospital did not choose to be there, but it could be anyone that you know, and you could support them financially. And you start by putting up a fund for yourself and starting small. So these are the solutions that we provide. There is fixed income trading. That's what I'm going to talk about. It's a particular product. I'll emphasize the ones that make sense to this group. That is the unit trust fund, endowment plan, and the last expenses. There are quite a number: group life insurance, group family protection, group pensions, credit life, circle insurance. I just left them there for anyone who could be part of an organization where you think this product might make sense, where they could buy into the ideas and support their staff and employees. So under our fixed income trading at Old Mutual, we are stockbrokers. So I'll give a brief history of what UAP Old Mutual is all about. It's a fund management and insurance company that originates from South Africa that has been in existence for 190 years right now. In Uganda, it has been doing businesses that include insurance, general insurance, where you do motor comprehensive insurance for buildings, travel insurance, all those things. Please note down your questions in case I move fast. We'll have a Q&A session after this. And then we also do fund management, where we help people invest in stocks. That's buying shares in different companies, but also we help people invest their money, and we help them determine where they'll make the best interest in their money. So as a fund manager, we work together with, when you're determining where to invest your bills and bonds in Uganda, this is you giving credit to the government of this country. Yeah. So in times like this, for example, when we are approaching the campaigns, government needs money, and we all know they are the primary authorized entity to print money. They could print money any day. But to manage the distribution in the economy, they decide to borrow from individuals like ourselves. Yeah. So when they are borrowing, they will not come directly to you. They will go through companies like ours. So we are a fund manager. So we help the government borrow money from people. That is when a person says, oh, I invest in bills and bonds. It means they've borrowed money to the government of Uganda. So you can proudly say that the government owes you some money. If you're an investor in a bill and bond. Now, the minimum with our company is 10 million, but if you went directly to any central bank, you would be able to invest with as low as 100,000, though there are benefits of dealing with a fund manager and going there directly, because you get such information like what I'm sharing, as opposed to going and you're just troubleshooting everything along the way. And these are low-risk ventures. Why? Because the government of this country can't fail to pay you back when you need your money. They will print more money and give you money in case they are stranded. Yes, that's a secret. So there is guarantee that your bonds are safe. So it's a very, very good investment to take on. Most people believe that to invest in a bond, you need to be wealthy. You need to have 100 million or 1 billion. No, with as low as 100,000, you can start investing. But also, the more you put, the better for you. So it doesn't mean that just bring your 100,000, invest, and you're going to become wealthy. Yeah, it doesn't mean that. What it means is you do not sleep. If you have 100,000, put it aside. Keep making more, so you're able to have a bigger portion that you can invest and make more interest in your investment. So this particular investment is taken on by Bank of Uganda through the Uganda Securities Exchange. All those are back-end things that we can handle as an entity that will do your fund management, so we can help you be able to generate investments for yourself or over a given period of time. So our target market is individuals like yourselves, business owners, collective investment schemes. Those are circles, investment schemes. If you're part of any investment scheme or circle, where are they putting your money? Yeah, you can tell them, if we've raised 10 million, 20 million, 30, 100, let's invest it in a bond. Let's be sure that we have a money market that we're investing in and we're able to get out this money whenever we need it. But for the days it's there, it's growing. We all know it's easier to grow when you start investing as a group. I don't know if the youth have a circle or investment scheme that they are running. That's awesome, because their investments they can't do as individuals. But if you can collect money together, it's easier for you to do bigger things as a group. So just the definition of a fixed income dealing, this is buying and selling of government securities, and government securities are really you just borrowing money to the government and allowing them to give you interest over a given period of time. So what are government securities? They are issued to finance government expenditure. Like right now, government needs money to finance campaigns, to finance different things that are going on. It could be construction, it could be anything. The government needs money, but also it just does it to regulate the supply and demand of cash in the economy. So for you to support it, you invest there so that our money has value. Imagine if they printed money every day. That's how our money goes down and it doesn't have value, because, 50,000 is as useless as 5,000 today. So the more they limit that and allow us to invest, it's easier for us to benefit. So the difference between a bill and a bond is the period. Some people will question that. If you're investing if you give them money for less than a year, that is either for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months, that will be a bill. If it's anything above a year, that becomes a bond. So the most lucrative or juicy bonds are the ones that go over to 20 years. Between 10 and 20 years, the interest rates are usually good. The tax is also low, because on the bonds, there is tax on it. What are the benefits? The guarantee that your money will be liquidated whenever you need it. A bond or bill can be liquidated anytime, so that's a plus. How do you start investing with us? These are questions I'll respond to when need arises. But just to summarize everything, our minimum with us is 10 million. But don't be afraid if you have your 100,000 to start. 100,000, 200, any amount of Uganda shillings can be deposited to start investing in a bill or bond. What should you know before investing? You need to know the entity you're working with. Is it trusted? Is it regulated? We are regulated by Capital Markets Authority, Bank of Uganda, and UBRA. These are entities that monitor us, and they ensure we are doing our business the way they expect us to do business, and that we're investing with the right arm. So these are the different taxes on the different periods of investment. If you're investing in a bill, your tax on the profit that you'll be earning or interest will be 20%. 2 years to 5 years is 15%, and 10 and above is 10%, which makes it better. It means that you earn more interest when you invest in a 20-year bond. It doesn't mean that when you choose a 20-year bond, you can't liquidate in, say, year 1 or year 2 or year 3. You can liquidate as and when you need the money. Of course, there are terms and conditions that apply, and those you can always get to know. So the primary dealer of bills and bonds in this country is Bank of Uganda. They are the bank that we deal with. They are the ones that operate on behalf of the country and the government of Uganda. And the primary dealers auction through the Securities Exchange arm that works through a stockbroker, who is Old Mutual, and different other competitors in the market. There are quite a number of competitors, about 6 to 7, and you can deal with any trusted arm to be able to invest. How quickly can you access your money? As soon as you initiate liquidation, within 3 to 4 working days, you're able to get out your money with that interest. Yeah. So it doesn't lock you in. It gives you a possibility to top up and also access your money as and when you need it. And how do you monitor? There are usually online platforms, but also on inception, there is guidance on when you will expect a coupon. That is usually after every 6 months. A coupon is the interest you earn from your bond. Yeah, I hope I'm very clear. Just put up your hand if I'm clear. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So I'll go to this particular product. I believe every individual here who has a bank account needs a unit trust fund. If there is any money on your bank account more than 100,000, you're doing a disservice to yourself. Just touch your heart and say, I am doing a disservice to myself if you do not have one. If you do not have one. Yeah, so what is a unit trust fund? This is, I would call it the hot cakes of the investment economy in this country. Every bank is now taking on these. Every fund manager is thinking about how to start doing this. Every entity that thinks they can run investments is thinking about how they can start either investing in a unit trust fund or being a fund manager. How does one become part of this? When we started out investments in this country around 2013, we realized there was a gap, yeah, where investment clubs and circles were dying on their first birthday or before their first birthday. That's before even 12 months. And mostly because people were collecting money with us, with themselves and keeping it on the bank account. But while they collect this money, it's not growing. It's just on the account, redundant. And then we realized we could tap into this market. Instead of people picking money, putting it on the account, waiting for it to grow, and maybe they invest in land or businesses, it's not growing. Why don't we allow them invest it with us? And for every day that passes, this money earns interest. And that's exactly what we did. So we allowed different organizations, investment clubs, churches, every form of entity, NGOs, schools, family members, all to come together, pool money, anyone with a bank account. We ask them, pick that money, give it to us, allow us to take on investment options for you and guarantee interest for this money. We offer daily compound interest. Compound interest means that for every amount of interest that you earn every day, it becomes part of the principal the next day. So we ensure that for every day that passes, you know your money is making money for you. And in a way, you're starting to acquire passive income because you're sleeping and the company is working so hard to ensure that your money grows every day. So I believe that for every individual, let your 100,000 not be on the bank account. Allow the company to have work to do, because it's what they recruit us for, to be able to identify where to invest this money so it keeps growing. So how do you benefit from this investment? Aside from interest, which is about 10 to 12.5% per annum, we'll break this down to per month and then per day. So for every day that passes, you're able to realize, excuse me, you're able to realize how your money is growing. We give you transparency, so we ensure that you can log into the online platform and see how much money did I make on my 100K. If I give them 1 million, how much did I make? If our investment club has given them 20 million, how much have we made so far? So we give you an online system. Instead of going through X or Facebook or Instagram, you log into the investment portfolio and you're able to see is money growing, and you're motivated to even keep topping up. So when you see it has made this much money, you make top up. So you know that every month when my salary comes through, this portion I put aside and I'm able to have my money grow. And then it gives you flexibility. Flexibility means that you can top up any time. So when you say every month I'll be putting aside 100,000 from my salary or 200,000, but at the end of the week, maybe there is this hot deal or there is this activity happening and you're part of it, or you're in the business of, say, selling shirts, you're doing branded t-shirts or jumpers and you're selling them at church. Maybe they have Bible verses. You make small profit and you also take it there, so you don't have to wait for the monthly salary. So it makes you creative and you're able to identify more reasons to be able to top up on your portfolio and see it grow. And when it raises to an amount that makes business sense for you to maybe reinvest in another form of business, you're able to withdraw it without any limitations and you can reinvest elsewhere. Yeah. Minimum investment is 100,000. There are no administrative charges, there are no taxes, there is no withdrawal charges, there is no charge whatsoever. So you do not pay any money to this company to be able to run this investment for you. So we also give out monthly statements and we ensure efficiency when the withdrawals come in. So whenever you initiate a withdrawal, within 2 working days maximum, you're able to get out money and use the money for anything. If an emergency comes through, you're able to access your fund and be able to use your money for the purpose intended. This is also a low-risk venture, same as the fixed income investments, the bills and bonds. The difference here is you're allowing us to take the responsibility of determining where to invest. Yeah? And then you're also opening up yourself to flexibility and an opportunity for us to invest in different markets, because then this won't limit us to investing only in Bank of Uganda. This is an example of what your fund would grow to. Let's assume you have 10 million. 10 million would give you about 100,000 every month, which is a good rate. How much would you make if you put 10 million on the bank account? Most likely nothing, unless you choose to fix this money. We'll look at this again. So how do you sign up? For you to be able to become an investor of a unit trust fund, all you need is to provide a copy of your national ID, a 1-month bank statement, and a passport size photo, and you do fill in a form or register yourself online. If you're a company, I believe some of you here are business owners and you need to be investing the money for the business. When the money comes out, when you make profits, before you pay salaries or restock in that shop, where do you put the money? Don't leave it on the bank account. Invest it here so you're able to realize interest on your money and make more money, as opposed to only making money in active investments. These are other schemes that we do. I believe that every parent out there needs an education scheme for their children. We are in the age where there is no guarantee that your sister or your brother will take on responsibility of your children if you can't make it. If maybe you're disabled, or if you passed on, or even just to plan for the future. If you need your kids to go to Harvard, why aren't you saving the money right now? Why are you waiting for them to join university to start looking for the money? Yeah? It could even be MOOC. When we were in MOOC, our tuition was far different from what they pay right now. So you need to start planning now. Nursery kids are now paying about 2 million plus, yeah, for nursery. So before you even get pregnant, you need to start planning an education scheme. Yeah, before you even think about it, you need to start with an education scheme so that you're not in positions where you're afraid because the woman has come out with 5 children. You're like, but it was supposed to be 1. Yeah? Instead of looking at it as a blessing, you see it as a curse. Why? Because you did not plan. So these are things you need to think about. So I believe everyone needs an education scheme. It helps you plan better, plan earlier, so you're not stressed, you have peace of mind, but also you protect them. The best gift every parent can give their children is guaranteed education. Education until they are done. We are all here because we went to school. Even those that did not, think about it and ensure that their children go to school. We all have big dreams. They could be on the screen, or they are bigger than what is on the screen. Yeah. These could be very small dreams. Your dreams could be bigger than this. Yeah? Yeah, I haven't seen this car in the parking. For me, it's my dream right now. But then I'm thinking, how do I achieve it? Yeah? Unless I wait for a miracle. But if I start investing today, in the next 10 years, I could achieve this. Yeah? If I'm intentional and I say every month, I'm going to put aside 500,000 and I will not touch it for the next 10 years, I'm able to get this. But how do you start? Knowledge is power. You might not have that job that can allow you to get 500,000 of your income, or you could, and you can even put aside 5 million. And you could realize your dream even earlier. It could be a dream to go to Dubai or Hawaii or to build such a house. So for us to be able to realize our dreams, I believe in vision boards. I don't know if these are things you've considered doing. Everyone needs a vision board. With a vision board, you're able to work so hard, extremely hard. Yeah? Before you go to bed, you look at it and you're like, am I anywhere close to this? So you're able to work hard and achieve such things. So these are things we can have conversations around and see how do we support ourselves. And this is the last expenses scheme. I asked earlier, are you looking after aging parents? What does that mean? The older people get, the older the facts of life actually happen. There is death, there is disability, there is critical illness. Now, the last expenses cover helps us protect ourselves from having to move around with a basket, asking people to support you with cash if you lost a loved one. You could just pay 100,000 and the company pays out 5 million in case of death of a loved one. So this is an investment I believe someone can consider. It protects you, it gives you peace of mind, but also helps you support your loved ones if an occurrence happened to you and you don't need to struggle in that minute. So this is something you can consider very easy. If you have any parents below the age of 70, you can just sign them up by paying 100,000 to get 5 million, or 200,000 for 10 million, 300 for 15, and 400,000 for 20 million in case of anything. We can read this together. Let's start. It is not how much money, but how much you save consistently. Yeah. So all of us can think about having a percentage of our income every month or every week. Incomes come in differently based on your kind of job. It could be weekly, it could be an annual or a project, and maybe you get projects every 3 months. Put aside a percentage and be consistent. It could change so much in your life. Each step you take brings you closer to your dreams. Retirement and old age will not scare you when you are financially stable. Yeah? When you're not financially stable, you'll be the person who is 50 years and you don't want to leave the organization. You become 55, you don't want to leave. But there are young people who are graduating and you're telling them, give me your CV, we'll see what to do. And it's been 5 years, you've never done anything. You don't want to leave your job, you're not even helping people get jobs, but because you're afraid. You are not working, you've been in employment for 30 years, 40 years, you don't want to leave. You know that the moment you leave, you're going to start struggling. You're going to start being a beggar next door just because you did not plan. Are you proud of your financial priorities at the moment? If not, what steps are you taking to turn your financial status around? I want to applaud all of you in this room for taking this step. This is a step to turning your financial status around. Yeah. You being here is a very, very big step, and kudos to that. Thank you very much. This is my contact, and is this one we're talking about? So we'll have questions. Who wants to moderate that? You can move around the microphone.
Okay, sorry, I've just been corrected that we have a panel at the end, so we'll be handling those questions. So just keep writing them down. They will be addressed. I can give you full assurance. But how many of you have loved the presentation? Come on, would we give a round of applause to Sulaina for that? All right, so without wasting so much time, we are going to be having our second speaker. Sorry? Okay, please. Yeah, so there's a request for the slides, Lina. All right. Yeah, so through me, you will have them. I have been given full assurance that I'm going to get these slides, so that you can have them. But then, please, there's a contact there. Write it down. She is very much available to assist you where you need guidance, where you need counsel. Okay? Right. Just looking out for our program. Okay, so our next speaker is one that I'm very, very glad that we have been able to get today to speak to us. Very many of us have been challenged in one way or the other in terms of starting businesses, having those businesses thrive and continue. Maybe one of us started and somehow our business did not enjoy its first birthday. But some of you probably started and you got a few challenges here and there in terms of in terms of profitability. Maybe you are struggling with making sure that you can increase the profitability of that business. Maybe you are also struggling in terms of raising capital. Yeah? Turn to your neighbor and tell them, capital. Yeah? Getting capital to start. You have all the energy, you have all the ideas, but somewhere, somehow, capital. If we say capital. So we are very, very much privileged to have Mr. John Kakungulu Walugembe. He is an international private sector development consultant. He has consulted for very many organizations, including UNDP, UNCDF, GGGI, ILO, Kingdom of the Netherlands, among others. Federation of Small and Medium Enterprise, Uganda, FSME, the umbrella body for all small medium enterprises in Uganda. This organization boasts of a membership of over 734,000 small and medium-sized businesses all over Uganda. He possesses a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Oxford in Finance and Economics is, I think, what he mastered. And then a Master of Public Administration from the Harvard University, John F. Kennedy School of Government, Development Economics, Public Policy, and a first-class bachelor's honor in science from Makerere University. We are very, very much honored to have Mr. John Kakungulu Walugembe with us. Please, would you give a big welcome and round of applause to him as he comes.
How much time do I have? Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this morning. We thank you for the gift of life. We thank you for the fact that you've chosen that we are alive. And we thank you for the time that you've planned for us in this world. We pray that we take the best of decisions, and we pray that in this session we shall pick tips that will help us to live a better life. Thank you. Okay. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. I was catching up with my friend, Dr. Ben, and he said, by the way, you should be speaking to these people. And I said, fine, I'll make the time. Because there's nothing as important as speaking to people and trying to influence how they run their lives and business. Last week, I went to Forest Mall to wash my car, and someone said, John, you inspired me. I started a business, I sell traditional medicine. I'm just giving you... It's called manpower. I said, this manpower, I'm giving you 5 bottles for free. I don't tell him that I don't really need them, but I accepted them and put them in my car. They actually still there. I'm not lying. They are there. My car is there outside there. But the man was so happy. John, what you said really changed, you know. And then the other day, I went to also still wash my car, but at a different place in Tinda. And said, now, John, you helped me. I've now started. He used to wash cars, the Kanabe kind. But then he started a shoe repair thing next door. So I was saying, John, really have... So I said, okay, we are... I'm not a pastor. No, he offered, even said, bring all the shoes. What said, okay, I'll send people to... You see, so that is why I take this very seriously. My name is John Walugembe. As you've heard, I'm a consultant. That's how I earn my money. But I've also chosen to support the growth of small businesses through the Federation of SMEs, and through that we support people who are starting and so on to grow their businesses. Of course, I'm educated, and I don't want to be apologetic about that, because I don't want to be like those musicians used to come to church. Sorry, I've come to sing for you a song, but don't listen to the voice, just listen to the message. No. If you are coming to sing, first work on the voice. Otherwise, you just talk. Just talk the message. Don't... So I don't want to be apologetic about my education, because I've worked for it. Sometimes I've not slept working, so I cannot start saying... It's like someone who started up Simanya Association of Abatasoma. I said, you're stupid. Because Abatasoma is not a permanent disability. You can turn it around. You see, we shouldn't start to... Association of Single Motherhood. It's not a permanent situation. Today you are single, tomorrow you are married. Yeah, you can't say now we are another association of single mothers. We have to come up with strategies of financially, but no. That is a situation you can turn around, isn't it? So we have to distinguish between situations that are changeable and situations that are not changeable. Okay? And the issue with, I keep telling people, the things that you can change. If you can go back and study, do what? Stop mixing things that want to become a billionaire, but I didn't study. Because you are going into an, sorry to use this word, we are going into an era of artificial intelligence. The business of 20 years ago of Chirumira and so on, of Magenda and so on, can't work now. Government has IFRIS. They are seeing every transaction. So if you're not educated, that's why my friends were, sorry to start with stories, but sometimes I like the freestyle mode. You know, when government introduced IFRIS, my friends in Kasita said they were going to strike. I told them, you people, first of all, the methodology of striking no longer works. If you close your shop, it does not mean that people won't do what? People won't order on Jumia, on what, you understand? So you're disadvantaging yourself. That is number one. Two, IFRIS is the future, it's not the past. You have to learn to work with it. Oh, we didn't say, okay, fine. But at least to do something to resolve it. If there are challenges within the system, we can complain about that. Maybe the penalties are high, whatnot. But we can't say remove IFRIS, isn't it? And then they went to the president at Kololo. They called me, I refused to go because I can't join stupid people. They went there, someone stood before the president. Sebo, President Iwafe, IFRIS yemutuju. Didn't you see those things? Come on. Come on. So anyway, sorry for digressing. I was simply telling you, I went to school. And I can't come here to apologize for that. Okay? So I went to school. As you heard, I got a first-class degree. Yeah. And I tell people, if you're going to school, you treat your studies seriously. Don't come with a past degree and say we are praying to God to open doors for jobs. You are making God's life difficult in this instance. You know, we used to be at Makere there studying. And then you would know that exams would say on Monday. Then there used to be a place called MTR, Mango Tree Revive. It's near between St. Francis and St. Augustine. Then you see someone says, no retake, no retake, no retake, no retake, no retake. But the exam is on what? So, I studied, I got a first-class degree. It doesn't mean I was not doing other things. I'm a trained children's minister. I used to work with Scripture Union, going to preach the gospel to primary school children and so on. So for all those 3 years, as an active minister with Scripture Union, I'm trained, I'm professional. If you give me your children, I can engage them for 1 hour. In fact, most Sunday schools in this country, you know, you find people, I don't want to use the word, omanyo kugeta. You know what they call kugeta? You just go tell children, jump a bit. Let us read this verse a bit. Let us, You take a bottle of soda, as you buy time. You see? So, for me, I'm a professional children's minister. So I got my first-class degree in science. And then I went on company for many years. Then I joined consulting. I started consulting very early, actually, around 20, maybe 6. Started consulting. And then joined the Chamber of Commerce. We did a lot of trade promotion work. With the president, I used to work a lot with the president those early years. Trade promotion, going to other countries, finding markets, trade promotion, and so on. That's a different other space. Then I went and joined the Small Scale Industries Association. Then set up the Federation of SMEs. And then I went back to school at at the business school in Oxford, did my MBA in finance, economics. Then I went to Harvard. I did my MPA in development economics and public policy, and I paid for it. I don't want you to, we want scholarships. John, help us with no scholarship. No scholarship. I paid for it. Yes, big house, you have but you don't want to pay for education. So anyway, that's a different point. A different point. So that's me. I have over 20 years experience in supporting businesses. I've started businesses myself. Some have collapsed. I've let them go. I've started others. So I do many things. I have a microfinance company. I've had a technical or vocational training institute. Of course, I have a consulting firm that's given. And then other things, other real estate, obviously, and other things. So that's, and I hope that what I share this morning will be of value to you. Every day, when I work for the bank, I charge them $500. And I'm not seated there physically. Even when I'm doing my own things, so long as I have a running contract with a bank, I bill them $500 minimum. So, the fact that I've come here, please appreciate that is of value. And that if you are to find it in the marketplace, yeah, because sometimes when you go to Christian audiences, they think you preach, you're like Pastor Gundi. Not that pastors are not to be paid, but I'm simply saying that we Christians also expect very many free things all the time. You see? This information is free, but there's value to it. And we've given it to you as something that we hope you can use to improve your lives. Because most of you are young people. Even us, we were helped by other people. So we need to give back, isn't it? The Bible says you've been given, freely. Yes, so we want to give it to you freely so that you can use it, so that you can be like that man who gave me manpower and say, John, no, I'm not saying you should give me that one, but I'm saying that I want you to meet me and say, John, when you came to Omega, you blessed me, therefore, I'm giving you free lunch. Isn't it? Yeah, so I'll finish with the introductions. I've introduced myself and I've set the context very well. I was given a complex topic, discussing solutions to SME profitability and capital mobilization bottlenecks. The title is too complex, has too many words, heavy words. You see? So I decided to ignore it. Like that student, he went to an exam. There was a question, describe X. He cancelled the question. He wrote his own question. And then he proceeded to answer it. So now me, I've proceeded to write my question and answer it. First of all, I just want to share nuggets on life as you transition from school, because some of you are young people. As you transition, how do you transition from school? How do you transition in the workplace? How do you go into business and so on? I have noticed one thing, that the ingredients of success are the same. Successful doctors, successful pastors, successful business people, when you look closely at their lives and you observe them, you'll find skirting amongst them, you know, that people are not willing to sometimes share. So I thought I should try to share my observations with you so that you can pick those and deploy them as you wish. First of all, you must do the right thing at the right time. You must do the right thing at the right time. There is a time, just like the Bible says, there is a time for everything. There's a time for being born, there's a time for growing, there's a time. Even us, we have a time frame. The Bible says, teach us to number our. We have numbered days. No one tells you, but you have numbered days. If you find a 50-year-old man or 60-year-old man getting married, what do you think? For the first time. For the first time. What do you think? They are late. Okay? But nobody tells you that by so and so. So what I'm saying is that there's a time for everything. There's a time when you're young and you have energy. Use that time well. There's a time when you're in school. Study and become the best. Before I went to university, I told my colleagues, me, I'm going to university, but I'm going to get a first class. Yeah. Somebody told me that, John, if you're to go to university, get the best degree you can find there. So I told my friends, me, it's going to be first class. I'm not going. Of course, I chopped some lessons for sure, but but even when I chopped a lesson, I put in effort for that I'm on track. So, those of you who are still in school, my advice to you is take that school seriously. If I knew that mathematics and English were very important, I think I should have given it more attention in my life. Because as I've gone through life, at whatever stages, when I went to do the MBA, they told me I have to do the GMAT test. It is an aptitude test, which is English and mathematics. Everywhere you go. Recently, I'm doing my PhD somewhere. And we went to do something called energy economics. And then they brought that dy dx. Those who have done mathematics, you know. They brought dy dx. I told the professor, me, I cannot do dy dx. You know, you must learn to have a bit of lugezigezi. I told the professor, she's a Chinese. Went to her. Said, you're teaching these derivative things. Me, at my level, I've come to look at policy issues. Is there a way in which you can change? She said, no, I can't change. I said, okay, no problem. I wrote to the boss. I said, this course, because of ABCD, please change. They said, you can't. I wrote to the boss again until they changed. So, certain things will find you, whether you avoid them. So you have to do them at the right time. So if you're in school, give it ultimate attention. If you are lucky to get a job, also give it as much priority as you can. I'm on I also share these things on TikTok, and I was telling people, many people sit in workplaces and they have this attitude, but now, me, I'm waiting for God's miracle. I'm just here as I wait for something bigger. In church, God said they are going to open doors. So this one, I'm not sure, but I hope God can do something bigger. So you come late. You treat the boss as you wish because you think this is not your what? Your miracle. Let me tell you, your miracle will find you where God has placed you. Don't think that you're there by mistake. God knows your address. Some people keep telling me, for me, if I was only in America, my life would be all that different. It's because you're not exposed. You are just watching movies. You're watching movies. Do you know Katani Kabutandis? You are young. Translated movies, they used to be called Katani Kabutandis. They would translate, and in the middle they would say Katani Kabutandis. So that you pay. The translator, I think they would give them money so that at whatever point you come, they say, who did the Katani Kabutandis? You pay. Then you then you enter after 5 minutes there. So, the US, the UK, those countries are not as rousy as you think they are. When I was at Harvard, they asked us to do research. So Harvard is located in a town called Cambridge. There's a next town called Dorchester. So they told us to go to Dorchester. When I went to Dorchester, I found that old people who are like 70 years are coming to sell tins. You know tins? Even here, these people of scrap do it. But that day I found old people. Here, they are scrap sellers, but they're young boys, isn't it? There, it's old people selling scrap to survive. And there's winter, by the way. Here, you can just walk around, you find a mango, you eat. You find someone's guavas, you pull, isn't it? But there's nothing. There's no guava, there's no, there's nothing. Okay? So, God knows you are in Uganda. He knows your address. If you do well in Uganda and God seeks to promote you, He Himself will promote you, isn't it? He Himself will promote you to another location. If you don't do work in Uganda well, you can't say you'll do work in the US well. Is it possible? Is that possible? And I hear people saying, oh, God told me I'm going to preach to the nations. You who can't speak English. So you're going to speak to them in which language now? Take your English lessons well to begin with. That's why God has placed you there. Also learn some French and some German if possible. Isn't it? Can I tell you something about God? Sorry, I'm not a pastor, but I'm a realist. Do you know when God was using people to work with, He didn't choose idlers. God finds you on your business, then He tells you, now I've called you. There were many idlers who were there. But He keeps on choosing people who are busy. He found Peter, John, fishing in the night. In the night. Do you know people who work in... Me, I leave office at 10, 11. Me, I'm a hard worker. I'm a hard worker and I've been a hard worker for long. I'm a hard worker. I put in work. What God wanted was, by picking Peter and John in the night when they were fishing, He wanted people who are persistent. He wanted people who can work and put in the work when people are not seeing. He wanted people who don't give up easily, because He knew the mission was going to give them was a complicated one. So He knew these fishermen who can fish and look for fish into the night. These ones are the best. So He picked them. When He wanted sophistication to translate the Bible and so on, He looked for a lawyer with a PhD. But who was on the opposite team? He looked for Paul, who was on the opposite what? Who was persecuting them. Then He said, for you, you're competent and you're zealous. You're going to Damascus to kill people. What? You come. Yes. So, what does that tell you? It tells you that God values competence. God values competence. Yes, availability is important, but competence is equally important. I hope I'm communicating. So, taking what God has given you seriously is very important, in my opinion. Okay? Then the other issue that I keep telling people is hard work. Someone told me that hard work beats intelligence every time. There are people who are smart, but they never make it because they are lazy. Not everyone who gets a distinction in school is smart. Some people just put in the work. But if you're smart and you're a hard worker, all the better, isn't it? That's why people used to tell me that when you go to God and you want Him to assist you to pass exams, you pray as if you have not read. Oh my God, if you don't help me, I am finished. Support me, help me to remember. Sabanga tasomye. But also when it's time for you to read, you read as if you are not going to pray at all. This is the problem we used to have in school. You used to have people who used to pray in the chapel. They pray, they don't read. Then you have people who read. They don't pray. Me, I used to read. But when it's time for chapel, I go. When it's time for morning glory, then I go. I balance my time properly. So, this is very important, hard work. Most of us Ugandans are lazy. Research has been done. Labor productivity in this country is very low compared to Kenyans. Very low. If those of us who employ people, you know, Ugandan workers, they can use 5 relatives in a month. Grandfather dies, brother dies, sister dies, grandfather dies again. Then the grandmother who died last year also resurrects and dies again. So Ugandan workers are not serious. For me, I'm strict in my workplace. You have lost a father, oh sorry, we shall pray for you, but we shall deduct the money. Because burying your grandmother is more important than working, isn't it? I will deduct the money. Yes. If you come late in my workplace, I prorata. You know what they call prorata? Very simple. I get 8 hours. I say you have come late 2 hours. I cut off that 2. I pay you for the 6. Very simple. If a month has 22 working days and you have worked for 5 days, I remove the rest. I pay you for the 5. Isn't it? My assumption is that the other days you are involved in your business, which is paying you. So, when you are here is when I pay you. As simple as that. That's how Indians run their businesses. That's how others run their businesses. Because Ugandan workers, we are indisciplined. We come late, leave early. If you go to government, the man comes in at 11, puts his coat, goes for lunch at 1, comes at 2:30, leaves at 3:30. We want a generation of serious people, isn't it? Yes. You're young. Me, when I was in Essex, I used to go for these fellowship things a lot. Maybe now I'm less active. Maybe God has deployed me in this other space, I don't know. But I used to be active in this kind of thing. I used to attend those fellowship. On foot, I used to walk. Me, I've walked the whole of Kampala. There's no place I can't go. Even when you ask me for food of 500, now, I can take you. I know. Yes. I know I get. You think, Some people come to my office and say, now we are budgeting, food is for 30,000. It's for 30,000. Mm-hmm. I know where to find what. So long as you're talking about Kampala, I can tell you all the panyas have walked on foot. From Chambogo to where to Makerere, everywhere I've walked on foot. I know it. So one day we went for a youth meeting at Eden Revival Church. It's in Wandegea. I remember that time, Pastor Namutevi, you people, no, Pastor Namutevi and who else? You people, you're young, but God is going to use you. Hey. But we didn't really believe it, to be honest. You know, sometimes they say things and you're like, it's the usual stuff. It's the usual stuff. But in this whole crowd, there will be someone, if not one, if not two, if not three, if not four, there will be someone that God is going to use mightily. And not all of you will be deployed in church. You understand that very well. I understand some people keep thinking that all of us will be deployed. No way. Life is not about church always. God can deploy some of you in the army. Some of you will find yourself in government. Some of you will find yourself in business. some of you, different spheres of influence. Okay? And in those spheres of influence, you must keep, so I'm sure God will use you, but you must make sure that you're prepared, isn't it? Yes. They say luck is when opportunity finds a what? The prepared. We are looking for some young people to join Bank of Uganda who have first-class degrees in BCom. Do you have a first class? Sorry, I have a past degree. Do you have? No, sorry. Second law. Opportunity has come, but it has found you unprepared. So you have missed it. Simple as that. So you must put in the effort. You see how these people are going to forge documents. In Uganda, if you did an audit of academic documents, you will find that 3/4 of people in public offices are not qualified. They have forged documents. That's why they mess up our country. Find someone is an engineer and is doing stupid things because he didn't study. You find that someone is a doctor and what he's saying doesn't make sense. You sit with him, you talk to him, what is the issue? But what he's saying is illogical. You know, me, I've done work in this country. Me, I was once an English teacher, and I was once a biology teacher at the same time. Yes. Me, I've done work. So, preparation is important. Hard work. Hard work. I want to, this issue of hard work, muchesibe konyo. If someone tells you, Benke told me, you have to be at Omega. I woke up early. I made sure I was here. By 8 something, I was here. Sicho? Because I prioritized it in my mind. I respected it. I said, this. Yes. So you learn that discipline. If someone tells you sweep this place, come and sweep it even when people are not seeing. Just sweep. If someone says, do this for me, just do it. Over time, that will open for you opportunities. And then the other issue is around consistency. Many of us are not consistent. By the way, these things I'm speaking are applying both to students, to people who have just started work, and to people who are running their businesses. If you're running your business and you're coming in at 11, it will collapse. No, I don't need to be a prophet. You can call me business prophet John Waluge. Yes, of course. You see, that's why people say you have witchcraft. Because there are people who I have employed and I've seen their work ethic. And I've told them, you man, you promise that you'll do X, you do Y. You promise that you'll come at 8, you come at midday. And don't give a reason. Then this man says, John Walugembe is very bad. He's a dictator. You know, now he's a hard man. Let me go and start my business. So I keep meeting them. Someone went and started a business in Chikuvo there. I said, yeah, good luck. We are praying for you. You go. Oh, sorry, now my business is closed. The stock is not there. You are I say, yeah, you are so. Because you cannot, there are lessons you have to learn in life. And if you don't learn them, you have to learn them. The world will have to teach you that lesson. I'll give you that. Let me give you an example. Respect. If you're not respectful of people, say, at school, you will be expelled. If you don't learn that lesson, you will have issues at university with your lecturer. If you don't have that if you don't learn that lesson, you will be fired at work. If you don't learn that lesson, you will be fired from the marriage. You see? Yes, the husband will fire you. Which husband doesn't want to be there? They'll fire you. Yes. Yes, they'll fire you. And then you'll say, oh, generational curse. Generational curse. Are you? I don't curse out a generational curse. Are you sure? Huh? That you have to go for deliverance to remove generational curse. It's indiscipline. This is what you're dealing with. See? So, and God leaves you to learn that lesson. If you look at Jonah, wasn't Jonah taught the hard way? Wasn't Jonah taught the hard way? God didn't quarrel with him. He left him. And then their fellow sailors were saying, let us throw this man away. It is them who they made their democracy. They voted. They said, let us throw this man overboard. And they threw him overboard, and the thing stabilized, isn't it? You can be there, you get a job, a new boss comes in, the first thing on his agenda is to fire you. Yes. You have to learn the other lesson. The other unlearned lesson. See? So, that's very important. So I was talking about consistency. Consistency means you have to do something over the long haul to learn it. Can you go and in 2 days you're a good fisherman? Can you learn how to be a doctor in 1 year? To become a professional doctor like Ben K requires years of training. The man went and studied 5 years. Then he went and they did practice. Then afterward they go for a master's. Then they go and do it. Those are many years of concentrating on one thing. For us who are in school and someone told us, don't even dare to become a doctor. I said, fine, I will not. My parents were there, please, we need a doctor in our family. I said, not me. So, whatever you're doing, you must do it over the long term to make it work, isn't it? Yes. Sorry, I have a few minutes. So, you must do it over a long term to make it work. So, if you say, I'm going to be a musician, you have to put in the work, but you have to be consistent. What I see here is a lack of consistency. You start this business. How many people run businesses here? Please put up your hand. Be confident. What business? Cleaning business? Good. Property management, real estate? You're selling? Which other one? I saw many hands. Mobile money. You run salons. Selling clothes. Okay. All these are very good businesses, and from experience, I'll go one by one. This man has houses. You are in the real estate business. There is no rich person in the world who is not exposed to real estate. So real estate is the backbone. And I want you to hear me correctly. Real estate is the backbone of most businesses. But real estate is capital intensive. And that brings in this lady with what we are doing here with UAP. It means if you want to go into real estate, you have to save money and have it grow. So it's a good business, and you need to respect. Okay, that's another point which I'll come to. Cleaning business. Cleaning business is a business that can't get exhausted. You know, there are businesses that are seasonal. There are businesses that are like COVID. You know, that's issue of sanitizer. Everyone started a sanitizer business. Where are they? They have all collapsed because they were speculative businesses. But cleaning will always be required because Every time people occupy a room, it needs cleaning. And as people get sophisticated, there are certain things they don't want to do anymore, like cleaning. It's like the funeral business. For us when we were young, these funerals used to be planned in-house, everything. But now you get a funeral company, then you go to the salon, isn't it? The time you would have used to plan the funeral, you are in the saloon. Eh? Then you come with shades and you're looking all nice and... Eh? Eh? Okay. Property management, same. The real estate business, you can't go wrong. Because as I've told you, all the rich people in the world are exposed to real estate big time. Do you know why Bill Gates is the biggest landowner in the US right now? He made his money from software, but he has bought up all the farmland in the US. Why? Because wealth that is going to last generations has to be domiciled in land and property. I'm just giving you tips. I'm not... Eh? No, I'm just giving you tips that land, when I was young, land in Naguru a plot was 200,000 shillings. And my father had the money because he was working in Bank of Uganda and he used to have tins of money there. You could go, you put in your hand, you pick brand new note, you go and buy car, and you would never notice. So, if he had put that money in Naguru land, now, a same plot is 1.5 billion. $750,000, $800,000, and things like that. The next business. Mobile money, that is e-payments. It's also going to grow because people are no longer wanting to spend money physically. If I want people, I just send money through mobile money and so on. But you have to expand it. Your portfolio has to expand, not just mobile money. What other offerings? Put agent banking, put Simanya, Stanbic Pay, create a mini bank. Because these traditional banks are going to become extinct, like newspapers or typewriters. My mother was a professional copy typist. You would go there and her job was to type. You know those things that used to make noise? You would go in a government office. Now, stenograph. Now that there was stenographer 1, stenographer 2, stenographer 3. That profession as a whole is dead. If she was here, she would be unemployed. So, you must foresee the future. The future is e-payments. So, your business, expand it. Let it not just be mobile. Take a sophistication. Echirungo muchi. You see the way Mandela transformed petrol stations. People pick fuel, they change their tires, they eat in the meantime. Because he realized as people are changing their tires, people would be idle, they are moving around. So he said, look, I can put a restaurant and they eat. You see? So what else can you do to expand that portfolio? Which other one? So I'm doing sport advice. You deal in shoes. They're imported shoes. You buy them downtown. You sell them from a shop. Go online. Set up a TikTok account. The people with money to buy shoes, the men, are busy. Men are not interested in their looks. They're interested in utility. See? When I wake up, I'm not so much into, so long as I say, does it fit? If it fits me, I don't even care what color it is. I can just put on. So men can put on one shoe for 12 months. They have a lot of money, they are paying fees, whatnot. So these men, you have to go to their offices, tell them this shoe, I have this nice shoe. So it means that you have to invest in marketing. Don't stay in the shop. Use online, go to their shops, go to their gatherings. Where do men meet? In bars. Go there. Get someone to sell for you in a bar. You understand? What else? Personal shopper. That is a very serious business which you have to scale. Because for us like me, personal shopping is a stress. It is a stress, but it must be done. So if there's someone who can help me to get what I want on time, and they are honest, because the issue is honest. Sometimes you find someone saying tomatoes of 2,000 are for 20,000. And they think you're stupid. You look at them. You know. Look at them. I normally ask them a question. You, what is your highest level of education? You think you are smarter than me? Anyway. So if you do the business well and you're honest, because I keep seeing people with big Land Cruisers going to Nakawa market, and I say, this, you know, in economics, we talk about comparative and competitive advantages. Me, I cannot slash in my compound. No way. Because if I cut off my finger and I'm hospitalized for 6 months, do you know how many people will suffer? Hey, I cannot change a bulb. Benke, wali emirimu gyotateekeddwa kukola. Bwe bawulira nti Benke abadde akyusa bulb n'agwa. Sajja mukopi nnyo. The man is so stingy. Even giving someone 10,000, he could. Me, there are certain things I don't do. So, madam, you have to look for people like me. They want to buy their time to do more important things, but they want to ensure that the job is done well. If you market yourself in that angle, because when you go to Nakawa, you see all these big cars, and you say, now, why do these people come themselves to the market? You see a minister there, I can't do that. Even when I go, those people I don't argue. Even if you cheat me, it's okay. Okay, next business. Clothes. You buy new ones or what? What do you do? Where do you buy them from? You buy them from Kenya and bring them here and sell them. Okay, so what's your competitive advantage? Either they are better qualities, either they are cheaper, what? Good. Do you sell men's clothes, women's clothes? Women. So for women, go Instagram. She's surprised. Go Instagram. Go Instagram, get the clothes, get some young models to put deliver. Use the internet to your advantage. You know, people we see here like Maurice Cerulo, the evangelists, Reinhard Bonke, who is this gentleman? Oral Roberts, Bill Gates. These people were able to leverage the radio and the TV. Even Billy Graham. That's the reason that they are successful, is that they're able to see a revolution and take advantage of it. So let's take advantage of the revolution that we have. Okay? But you see some pastors still on the road. But the people on TikTok. You are shouting at him, but he's on TikTok bypassing you. That's why we need to also train our evangelists. You see, you have to preach Jesus as a business person. You see, let me explain. As a business person, you see, let me explain. In the issue of the talents, there's a fellow, he gave money. And the person said, for you, I know you. You are a hard man. Therefore, I kept your money to give it to you. Then Jesus told him, God told him, the master told him, why didn't you deposit the money on an account so that it earns interest? So it means God is financially literate. Era mwabalina sente mu nsawo akubuuza, Why don't you put it on a fixed deposit or give it to UAP in the unit trust than just keeping the money in cash in your pocket? Had you looked at it from that angle? I should be closing, I think, because it's 11:51. They gave me 40 minutes. And I want to respect time. Is there anyone else I've not? Sir, I think you had a business. You're a visual artist. What do you mean visual? You explain. What do you actually do? Are you a graphic designer? Are you hand? Yeah. So that's you use hand or you use a digital thing to draw. You use the hands or you use both. Exactly. So I think I see a lot of the challenge with artists. Sorry to use the word. Creatives, actually. Let me use that word. The challenge with creatives is that they are indisciplined. Bomo mulimu that I need ABCD on Thursday. Creatives are like tailors. They are like mechanics. When you take your dress to a tailor, you say, how much is this? It's this much. How much time do you need? 3 days. Fine. You leave them. You come back after 3 days. When they see you coming, they pull your dress now. You wonder, I left you this dress 3 days ago. I have returned. You are still. So, for creatives, you have to ensure discipline. In fact, this is the creatives era. As you notice, there's a lot of content stuff now, isn't it? The new gold is going to be content. But the creatives themselves are not going to earn. It's the middlemen who are going to what? Because the companies like MTN has a big marketing budget, for instance. But MTN used to place adverts in newspapers, on TVs. Now there's a transition. So they are stuck with those budgets. But they can't pay the creatives directly. So they pay companies, what they call agencies. Have you heard of them? Those agencies are middlemen. They are doing nothing. An agency just mobilizes creatives. You're a graphic designer, you edit videos. When this creative runs away, he gets another one. So the big corporate company doesn't have to deal with them. So if you're disciplined, that offers other services, digital design, content, and all that, related things. Software developer. Same. A lot of software. What kind of software do you develop? Yeah. So the challenge is the software market in Uganda is dominated now by Kenyans. They are very aggressive. They come here and sell. They are disciplined. You sign a contract, they deliver. But many software developers in Uganda develop software, but then they leave what they call a back door so that you keep calling them, isn't it? They are like a mechanic. You take them a car, they repair the carburetor, they spoil the... so that you can come back next week. Local software developer. And set up a company, please. Don't operate as a single person. You won't scale. Yeah. A person who is going to succeed has to ensure that they work with others. Now, if you're too greedy and suspicious, I don't like, people are very bad. You can't. You see? You can't. I think there are 2 people now. Okay, done. Fine. Please allow me to stop here at the core things. Let me stop there and thank you.
Ezingalo tezimala. How many of us have been blessed by that? We thank you so much, Mr. Walugembe, for the time you've taken to speak from your heart to these young men and women. I know that our lives will never be the same. We are still going to have a panel, and he's also going to be part of it. But before we do, very, very quickly, I would like us to welcome our very own, because he's one of us here at Omega Healing Center, a gem, a very, very big gem. I always tell him that whenever we meet, I am just ready to dig and get the gold out of what you have to say, out of your experience. We've seen him, we've interacted with him, he has mentored us, and he's going to come here and speak to us as well before we get into the panel. Please join your hands and welcome together with me, Dr. Ben K.
Hello. Good morning. God is a good God, isn't he? Now, God is funny because everything I prepare to speak, John has spoken. So I have nothing to say. And it's because people take excuses, eh? Then they say, what they've said has covered everything. Like, he's probably put illustration to what I was going to say from a different perspective. So actually I was telling him, but John, you've taken my day. Praise the Lord. But thank you for coming, first of all. I think we need to give God a big hand clap. And the reason I'm saying so is it's not easy to get John. It's not. I mean, he's told you. For the younger people, Harvard is like the best college in the whole world. And Oxford, those are called Ivy League universities. Yeah, like you study there for 1 year, you pay 200 million. And he paid from his pocket. So he's not a small man, but we thank God that he accepted to come. And I think we've learned a lot from him. So I don't think I'm supposed to talk about finance ethics and Christian money principles in the marketplace. He's spoken most of the things, especially the money principles. The things of hard work, for instance. And we could put scriptures to it, but hard work is inevitable. Yeah, like the Chinese say that you can't wake up every day and you go to the rice garden and you fail to put food on your table or for your house. Okay? So hard work can never ever be overemphasized. And I know we are a generation of people who want to put in little but get out more. That's the problem with our generation. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. I'll give you examples. I lecture at the College of Health Sciences in Makerere. And we're in a generation where people like cheating. They want to cheat. Cheat. You don't want to study. We get, let me tell you, even at master's level, we get people who hire others to come and do exams for them. And then, but you know all the students, so somebody like, but where's your ID? Who are you? Then when he realizes things are hot, the man disappears. Yeah, we get them. Undergraduate, postgraduate. People want to use AI. You know AI has come, eh? So people want to use AI to make life what? But let me tell you, the marketplace, you cannot cheat. You cannot cheat the what? You cannot. Hey. So I had a small plumbing problem at my house, and I called a friend. I said, "Do you have a plumber?" I said, yeah. Have this young man, he's very good. So I said, come and work. So I reached home yesterday, and I asked the boy, what is this that you've done? Like, I'm not a plumber, but even anybody who is not a plumber would see that the guy has made a mistake. But him, who is the plumber, he's thinking he has done a great job. But the person who is not a plumber is seeing that there is a problem. And that's how unforgiving the marketplace is. So if you don't do your due diligence in the training, when you're in school, or when you're learning, and you think you're cheating, the marketplace will not forgive you. It will not. Because when somebody comes, they want a product. And you cannot. So what are you going to do? You're going to look at AI, but AI cannot teach you how to do surgery. So you either learned or you did not learn. Therefore, you either lose the patient on the table or the patient survives. Huh? Yeah, that's how the marketplace is. It's not forgiving. So you can cheat everywhere else. But when you arrive and you have to deliver, you either have it or you don't. And if you don't, you're out. And therefore, preparation and hard work, you can never go wrong. Okay? That is very, very important. The Bible says that he who works with a slack hand will become poor, but the hand of the diligent will increase. The Bible says, have you seen a man diligent at his work? This man will appear before great men. He will not appear before poor people. So hard work. In your class, hard work. At your workplace, hard work. In your family, hard work. Everywhere it is hard work. If you're lazy, I am sorry. Like I can't even say anything. The Bible says a lazy man says there's a lion in the street. But if you think about it, a lion, when there is a lion there, how many of you will dare do what? Walk out of here. Like if there is a lion there. But there is money across. But there is a lion. Who will dare do what? Who will dare what? But the Bible is saying that a lazy man says that what? There is a lion in the what? Do you know what that means? That things are not going to come easy. Every good thing comes with a struggle. So, you either choose to go and risk the lion and get the good thing, or you stay and starve. It also means that you must devise mechanisms of overcoming the lion. Of course, the lion is figurative, but the issue is that in everything there is risk. Okay? In everything there is what? So if for you fear risk, there is a good piece of land here. Man, you know land has a fere. What? You don't buy, but you have the money. But because you fear what? Oh no, but there is a title. No, some people sell the land, then they've sold it to another person, then they've sold it to... You have the money. The piece of land is there. But because you fear Bafere, the lion in the street. Oh, this business is very good. No, you know that business, there are so many competitors. That business, there is this problem. For you, you are always seeing problem after. Let me tell you, opportunities are disguised in problems. Okay? Opportunities are disguised in what? Yes. Wherever there is a problem, there is an opportunity. Okay? Let's take an example of agent banking. Agent banking, what was the biggest problem with banking? Those days when children used to go back to school, what would happen? People would fight in the bank queues. What? You wake up at 6, you have to line up. Somebody sat down and said, no, I think if we came up with agent banking, and we have, women in every place, they can take this money in and, and now it's no longer a problem. Nobody ever lines up in the bank to pay school fees. You understand? Mobile money. What was the problem? Theft. You are going to buy land in the village, you carry your 50 million, guys gang you up, they take the money from you. What is the solution? Put the money on the phone. Then go the other side. The person you're going to pay, you pay via the what? The phone. So there is even no cash traded completely, but a transaction has happened. And so that cuts out all guys who think they are going to survive by robbing your money. You understand? Because even if they are like, they come and they are going to rob your phone, you can quickly call MTN and they lock the phone. So nobody can withdraw the money. They can take the phone, but your money remains safe. We understand. So problems, things that look like problems are actually solutions like we can find solutions and we make money out of them. So one of the things I wanted to really talk about was hard work. But John has really hit that home. Okay? I think the thing that he has not talked about is giving. And you've heard sermons about giving. I cannot overemphasize what? Giving. But giving is a real big Christian principle. Okay? That actually, I was going to say that has many returns. But I think it is true. The Bible says, Luke 6, give and it shall be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. The measure with which you give will men give back into your bosom. So the more you give, and I'm not saying go and give away all your money. I'm not saying go and give away everything you have. But I'm also saying don't be too stingy. Eh? Don't be like, my kamane. Pastor Marvin said he didn't give you my CV. I don't know whether I should give you my CV. I just remembered and he said, oh, I've not read your CV. I don't need to tell you my CV. A few of you know me. Those who don't know me, you will know me. I can probably say I'm John's friend. I think that works. Eh? I can say, yeah, and to prove that I'm his friend, we had taken 9 years without meeting with John. We all live in Kampala. Very busy. Then I called him one day. I said, hey, John, how are you? I said, can we meet? Can we meet for coffee? He said, yeah. So we met, we conversed. He told me things that had happened in his life. I told him what had happened in my life. And he told me, I've even started a PhD. I said, hey, oh, okay, that's very good. I said, oh, by the way, there is a finance thing going to happen at Omega. Do you mind coming? He said, yes, I'll come. And he has come. Did you see the car he came with? You saw his car, eh? It has personalized number plates. There's not a broke man. And neither is he idle. So you might think he has money, but he's idle. So you think that accepting to come here, he has nothing to do. No, he has a lot of things to do. Praise the Lord. So build social capital, in other words. Eh? They say birds of the same feathers do what? Who are your friends? Eh? They say, show me your friend and I will tell you who you are. So what kind of friends are you? And because the Bible says in Proverbs that he who walks with the wise shall become wise, but a company of fools shall not go unpunished. Okay? In Corinthians, I think it says, bad company does what? Corrupts good morals. Okay? So it matters who you walk with. But you see, but guy, okay, we can try to mix levels, but like, sometimes it's difficult to mix levels when they are so apart. Simanyo bochitegera chengamba. So now we kolemu omulimo such that when you're coming to want to be my company, nange nkulaba nga oli mu kumulamwa. I don't know whether I make a point. Yeah, sometimes that feels like you're proud, but that's the reality. Like if you know you have no business, you cannot sustain a conversation with somebody beyond asking them for money. That person cannot be your friend. They cannot be your network, in other words. So you need to work on yourself. So if John has a PhD, don't come with the senior 6. It may not work. That's why he told you that when Kasita went, he did not go. Because the mindset and the thinking of Kasita is what? Is that one, and he's... So tuwekole mo mulimo. If you want to be my friend, you had better Up your game, up your game. Wekolemu omulimo. You understand? Yes. Mwekolemu. Johnny abagambye yasoma, nange nasoma. Nange nakola ki? Nasoma. Siri mpale nywera miguwa. Yes, I can converse with, but I can sustain a conversation with the high and lofty. And they will respect me. They will what? They will respect me. They will. I can. I work with multinational groups. Let me use that word. One of the groups I lead has 24 institutions, universities, research places, 13 countries, some in Europe, some in Africa, and I lead it. Professors, sijui what, bonna tutula ne twogera, and I can sustain the conversation. So I'm not there because of connections. Connections are good. It matters who you know. Even to go to heaven, you'll need to know Jesus. You understand? So it matters who you know, but sometimes connections may not sustain something for you. You understand? So twekole mochi. Even if it's a business, if somebody has a business and you admire it, but it's worth $1 billion, now for you come with your business which is 100K, there might be a challenge. But if your business is also 200 million, and then you meet with the guy on the plane when you are all going to China, you realize that the conversation makes sense. Okitegeera kale yayinza okuba yogera ku container 10 naye nga naawe oyogera ku container 2. You understand? It makes some sense. But you can't come and say nze mbadde njagala genda wali mu kiku owino nguleyo endiiboota, when the man's conversations are what? Containers ziri stuck mu URA. Like it's a world of a difference. So twekolemu omulimo. I have a friend who told me that career growth is a skill. It is a what? It does not. Let me tell you something. So, for people who are bright, your brightness is a disadvantage. Tell your neighbor, if you're bright, your brightness is a disadvantage. Let me tell you why. When you're bright in school, you just no struggle. Like passing is automatic. You don't even think about it for yourself. Now, when you come through a system where you've just been, waltzing through life, you've not gained the skill of survival. That's why many times you find that people who are not brilliant in school tend to be better people afterwards, because they grow up hustling to go through the system. So that struggle to pass, the struggle to survive, the struggle not to be announced as the last person in class, in a way it is a life skill that you get. So even when you come in the marketplace, you know how to what? To struggle. You understand? So career growth, career development is a skill. Let me tell you, when I started working, I worked in MRC in Entebbe. I met a doctor there. Now, when you finish medical school, you do internship, you become what we call medical officer. That is entry level, MO. Okay? So I met a doctor who was an MO, entry level. But he was a classmate with the boss of the institution at undergraduate. So they went to the same class, but his colleague was now the what? The boss, and for him he was still entry level 20 years later. By the way, same organization. They all went to the same medical school. In fact, it is said that this guy who was still an MO was one of the brightest people in medical school at that time. But he was still MO. And this guy had gone through the ranks and become the top man. Because Oli Agame muchita generation curse. So you need to have a skill to learn when it is time to upgrade or to move on or to expand. You understand? Don't just sit there. You heard what John said. I'm going to reference him because anyway he spoke what I wanted to speak. So he said, if you come late, he prorates your pay. Okay? That is diligence. You have to put in your time. But let me tell you something. There are not many workplaces that are designed to help you grow. Whether it's a business, whether it's a corporate office, whether it's even your personal business is not designed to make you grow. It is you going to decide that I need to grow. And you find the mechanism of growing within that environment. Okay? I always tell people, don't wait for permission to. Don't. Like, there is no boss you're going to go to and you say, you see, I have seen this job and I want to apply for it, and you'll say, apply. He's not there. He is not there. There is no boss you're going to go to and you say, you see, I want to get a master's degree. He wants you here to work. If you say, so how will you manage? He will ask you, how will you manage work and school? That is going to be the question. And she says, I think we shall cut your salary. So, hey. So he will begin showing you the lion. You understand? So you must make tough decisions. Okay? You must make what? Tough decisions, because it is what it is. You understand? It is what it is. When I needed to do my PhD, I told my boss, she said, you'll have to leave the job. I said, it's okay. I will leave the job. I left the job. I went to do my PhD. It was crazy, but I went. When I reached Ireland, after 6 weeks, I thought I'd made a mistake. I wanted to come back, but it was too late. The bridge had been burnt. You understand? When I wanted to start teaching in Makerere, I was working in MRC. MRC does not allow you to have two what? But I wanted to teach. So I talked to my boss. I said, she was a lady. I said, Monderi. Yeah, yes. Why? Because I'd gone for a meeting and I realized that in my career, everybody is a professor, university lecturer. I said, I think I need to be one of these ones. You understand? So I went to my boss. I said, now I need this. He said, yeah, it's a good thing, but you know, MRC does not allow. I said, your bad advert. Makerere wanted an assistant lecturer. Not a lecturer. They wanted a what? I applied. When I applied, they gave me lecturer. I applied for assistant lecturer. They gave me what? Why? Because of my qualifications. You see why you know kolamu, so that when you present your credentials, they're like, yeah. You understand? Yeah, but when you come and you talk, they're like, hey, guy, work on yourself. So they give me the job. So I go to my boss. I said, they've given me the job. Then he said, now what are you going to do? So I went to the university and I negotiated with the then head of department. And the head of department said, yeah, I think the work here is not a lot. You see, as long as you teach, Makerere, first of all, you have no office. That's how the university is. There is no what? So you have no office, but what we need is that you do what? What you do with the rest of your time is up to you. If you have a lecture, teach. If you have to do this, if you have to give an exam, you are there. If you have to mark the exam, so me, I worked out. I could survive. So I went back to my boss. I said, I think I can handle. He said, hey, but we don't allow that. So we negotiated. He said, okay. I think what we are going to do, we shall cut your salary by 50%. Such that you have 50% here and 50% there. I said, it is fine. I said, it is what? That time in Makerere, they were earning about, I think about 1.2. And I was going to take a pay cut the other side that would probably be like 3 million. But I was accepting the pay cut because there is something I did what? You understand? Now, many years later, now, it turns out it worked to my advantage. Because the people who stayed in the programming world and research world, when Trump came and said America first and closed USAID, all those guys there were struggling because most projects were. Now, for me, at least I had Makerere. You understand? Now I can even, when I stand and I say, I lecture at the College of Health Sciences in Makerere, everybody listens. Everybody does what? Hey, my friend, I teach postgraduate doctors, not even undergraduate. These undergraduate, those ones are not my level. Me, I teach the ones abasomieko. Nembongerayo. You understand? Hey, but so it takes some decisions. Career growth is a skill. You need to know when it is time to move. Okay? So this is what I tell people. Entry level is okay. Come in with your first degree. But for instance, if you do not add to your first degree anything, in 5 years' time, you're going to be surplus to that institution. Whether you like it or you like it. And this is why. So when you enter, most times you're not married. You finished school, you are around. So even if they give you 800K, you are happy. You're probably still staying with your parents and all these things. 1 year, 2 years, of course you buy a small car. You find the young girl, you convince her to marry you. She accepts. People contribute money for you. You do some decent wedding. You move into a house. You have to pay rent. You have babies. Suddenly, the 800K is not. But you're at entry level. Your skills are what? Now you begin complaining. The job you used to thank God for and the commanding. Now you're like, but these people, they are overusing us. They don't pay us. They are unfair. The bosses take a lot of money. For us, we are suffering, yet we are the ones who do all the work. That's the conversation that happens. After 5 years, even if that institution has a policy of annual salary increments, and the best institutions pay how much? 10% per year. That's very good for salary increment. But if you began with 800, what is 10% of 800? 80,000, what can it do? Can it take you for a week as a home? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think so. So, and most institutions have a cap. They say after you've done 5 increments, that's the end. Now, so 80 times 5 is like 400, right? So 400 plus 800 is 1.2. You're married, you have maybe 2 children, That 1.2 might disappear in rents. Now, however, so you begin to complain to your boss. Then you say, yeah, but you see, the next positions require you to have a master's degree. And you don't have. But I have the skills. I know what to do. Yes, but we need bare minimum is a master's. So once you begin having those conversations with your boss, just know you are late. Just know you are what? Now, then what happens next? So you are demanding, you are at 1.2, maybe the boss is nice, he may raise you up to 2 million. Then suddenly young kids are coming and they are happy to work for 1 million. Yeah, for them they've just finished university, they are happy. Can take 1 million. For you, you are 2 million. And then there is a funding cut. What will happen? If you were you, what would you do? Who do you dispose, the expensive one or the cheap one? The expensive one. So then, those people, they are not appreciative. You work for them all these years. You didn't work on yourself. You didn't move with the movement. Eh? Not the yellow one. So, we need to learn how to help ourselves to grow career-wise. Okay? Even business-wise. If you started a business, you see, you heard John kept saying, scale up, scale up, scale up, scale up. Eh? Work with other people. Don't. It's a risk to work with other people, but that risk is necessary. That is the lion. You must find ways of working with people. Even if they are thieves, you must find ways of managing their theft. You know, one time John told me that, Ben K, you must have some money for thieves. Always have some money for thieves. At any one time, have some money for what? But you see, if you don't have any money in your house and thieves broke in, they are likely to kill you. I'm serious, by the way. Eh? Hey, they come in and there is no cash around, they are going to beat you. But if there is some little cash, you can confuse them with that money and they go. I'm telling you. You're driving on the road. These policemen come, they disturb you. All they want is money. They know you have no problem. All they want is what? But they are going to Kwetoloza and take you this side and take you that side. And you say, but I can haggle them out. It is true you can, but you're losing time. So if you see the man going around your car, third party, you have it. Please put the headlights, you put. The man is looking. All he's saying is, buy me some breakfast. Give him 2K and move on. You understand? So it is important to... I don't even know what I was talking about. How did I talk about money for thieves? Career growth. So you need to know how to scale up. Even your businesses, you need to know how to scale up. It's risky, it's tough, but scale up. Oh, some people say capital. Isn't it? One of the biggest problems is what? Is capital. But did you know that capital is an idea? Did you know that capital is a what? Is an idea. Capital is a what? That's why you need to learn how to pitch. You know what I mean by pitching? You need to learn how to what? Because if you come to me, and the problem with you people is you want people to give you money. No. Sell shares in your business. Sell what? Sell shares in your business. But if your business is there, you also don't know what its worth is, you don't know the profitability, you don't know how to make money, how to scale up, how would you sell to me shares? Eh? So for instance, I've seen the banners of Gold Line here. So if somebody called you and wanted you to pitch to them, they want to buy 20 shares of Gold Line, but they need to be convinced. What are you going to tell them? What are the assets of Gold Line? How are they making money? Where are the profits coming from? What are you projecting in the next 5 years? But, so you are looking for capital, but you don't even know how much worth your business is. You don't know how you make losses. You don't know how you make profit. In fact, for you, it is sales. When you sell, you go and eat. Then you come back. Then when you need to restock, then now you work, fast a bit, you declare fasts. So you can raise capital to restock. That's not a strategy. So scaling up is important. Learn how to scale up. So I think the thing I'd wanted to talk about is wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom and read up, get information. There's a lot of information. I think we have even passed the information age. The information in this world is a lot. And the problem when it's a lot, you get flooded, you get confused. Isn't it? You get confused. But learn to focus, learn to filter. For you, when you're on TikTok, you're just now listening to how Kirk was killed, and Kirk shouldn't have been killed, and Kirk was killed by gay people, and now FBI has found the guy, but they are hiding him, and that is nonsense. That is crap. You don't have time for that. And I'm not saying don't. It's okay to get a bit of entertainment. All work without play makes John a dull boy. We don't want dull people here. But don't feast on that. Okay? Educate yourself. And when you have a chance to go back to school, you go back to school. Okay? I mean, why would a man like John, who has 2 masters from the best universities in the world, still go to do a PhD? Like, why? I asked him, John, what are you looking for? Like, what? PhD at Wits in South Africa? I'm like, you've been to Harvard? You've been to Oxford? Why are you going to Wits? But he knows why. I don't know. But probably he's discovered that I'm working with World Bank, and at World Bank level for consultants, you need to have a PhD for them to respect you. You know, that's the thing. In some words, like in my world where I work, PhD is like a driving permit. You don't have it, nobody looks at you. No matter how brilliant you are, no matter how good you are, you don't have a PhD, we are sorry. You are not a researcher. If you don't have a PhD, you're not a researcher. It's that simple. Whether you are 100 years or you are 50 years, if you don't have a PhD, you're not a what? The moment you get a PhD, suddenly everybody is excited about you. You understand? So know the minimum standards and requirements for your job or for the thing you're doing. Even for your businesses. So knowledge. Wisdom. I can't overemphasize that. The other thing, I think he has talking about honesty and integrity. I think that's basic. For Christians, that is basic. Honesty and integrity. Like, if you're not clean, then there's a problem. If you're not clean, there's a what? Because before long you'll be found. And when you're not honest, I don't know who he was talking to. The person who does personal shopping. That is the principle. The principle is what? Honesty and integrity. Like if something costs 5K, yeah, it might be okay to say 7K, but it's not okay to say 20K. People, I didn't hear anybody saying he's a broker. Brokers. You know, brokers, by the way, it's brokers is being a middleman. It's the same thing as John talked about the agencies that work with MTN. MTN gives them the deal. They identify the content guys, and the content guys do the advertisement. Here they say the cost is 50 million. There they come and give you 2 million. But you are the one producing the content. Eh? But for them, they are the what? The middlemen. You understand? So by the way, it pays to be a broker. Fact is the simplest job. As long as you know how to talk and convince, and then go this side and get the guys who are going to do the job and give them a decent pay and then make a cut. So it is okay to be a broker. But also don't over-exaggerate. I think that's what I want to say. Don't over-exaggerate these things when you're a broker. There is a level of integrity that is necessary. So if somebody puts his house at 200 million and you are the broker to sell it, don't go and say it is $1 billion. I think there's a problem. It might be okay to say it is 300 million, 400 million. Because you need a cut yourself, right? But if you over push it, then there's a problem. Are we together on that? So our integrity is a big thing. The other thing I would have said in the ethics is things around stewardship and accountability. What? Stewardship. We know what stewardship is. The things we have are not ours. They belong to someone else. As Christians, we know that everything belongs to. So when God gives them to you, He expects you to handle them with care and faithfulness. But even when you are in a workplace, whether it is authority, whether it's finances, again, you are just a steward of that company. So the way you handle, even if you're running somebody's business, you are the one who sells in the shop, the man has entrusted you with that shop. So be a good steward. Don't be a cheat. The Bible says when you are faithful in little, you will be entrusted with many. Okay, so stewardship and accountability are the other things that we need to learn. And sometimes it's accountability for our time, especially for the people in school. It's accountability for what? It's stewardship for our time in school. Okay? Be where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there. If it is time for the class, you are in. If it is time to sleep, of course, some people want winter, so it's okay. But balance. Because again, if you don't sleep enough, you may not be able to study the following day. You get the whole point. So it is stewardship for all our life. It's not only the resources in terms of money, but even the time we have, the friendships we have, all these stewardship things, all the things around us, we need to have them in handle them with the fear of God, if I may use that word. Okay? So I don't have much to add, I think. Marvin, thank you for the opportunity. Let me tell you, Marvin is my friend. And we usually talk. We talk a lot of things. So he called me about this meeting, and I think he was asking me who to invite. And so I talked. Then he said, I think you should come and talk. I was telling him the kind of person he should invite. Then he said, I think you are the person. So I said, it's okay, I will come and talk. So thank you for the opportunity. And guys, if I hope we've made some points. Sometimes people are prepared. So when I walked in and she was doing a PowerPoint, I said, I don't have a PowerPoint. Now, it's not like I cannot prepare a PowerPoint. But so for me, I just came to have a conversation. Because I think real life is better. I mean, John talked about real estate. Let me give you an example. I give you an example. So many years ago when I just started working, many years ago, some of you were not born. One of those days, I used to we used to pastor a church in Natete there. So, but one of the ladies that used to come to our church used to have a shop at Stella. So one day, I don't even know what I was looking for in Stella, but I met her there. We were talking, she says, Zembera busabale yo, tuli mu bibanja binene, waliyo ettaka jangu. So I went and told my wife, oh, there's this land in Busabala, we should go. So we went. They talk about lions. The road was bad. It was, who knows Busabala road of old? Forget this one which has tarmac. So we went, we reached somewhere. My wife said, me, I cannot continue. You go. That is how serious it was. So I did what? I went. So I reached. We were just cutting the bush. The tower, no. I didn't even know what I was buying. I don't know how big it was. The owner of the land was not even there. I gave the guys money. I was so naive. Trusted them. Gave them money. Did some agreements. The man wanted 2.4 million. I think I had 1 million. Then I looked for the other money in 3 months. You can imagine, it took me 3 months to gather 1.5. Then I went to pay the guy the last money. He was on a deathbed in Bombo Hospital. So I paid him. Total 2.4 million. After about 2 years, some old man came. This is my land. I have the title. So we begin to negotiate. Hey, I want to buy the title. I want to buy. I was serious. I didn't have the money, by the way. But I was what? I was negotiating. So then the man somehow, after some point when I've even gathered my money, the man disappeared. Meanwhile, he was a mufere. God handled him, he disappeared. Then the real owners of the land came. So we negotiated, we agreed 6 million. Like 6 million. That land is about just slightly smaller than an acre. How much? 6 million. How much? In Busabala here. So the total was going to be 8.4 million. You understand? So I didn't have the money. I talked to my friends. Hey, there is this land. What? Lend me some money here. What? They lent me the money. I paid. I got the title. My names, my wife's names, we kept the title. This year, I said, I think I should sell this land. It is there, it is idle. You know now land when it's idle, it's risky. I don't have plans of developing it now, so I decided to put it on what? Sale. So I told the guy, one of my brothers, I said, I'm selling this land. Me, I want 250 million. So the guy went there, he said, you're joking. This land, we are going to get 350 million. I thought he's joking. Within a week, he had got a buyer. In what? And the man was willing to pay 300 million. But how much did I pay? So you realize real estate. So if you can buy any land, no matter how far, let me tell you, those days you said you live in Busabala. Busabala was full of witch doctors. Abasamiza, Amasabo, what? That was what was known. Busabala was known for. For me, I didn't know anything, so I just went. If I'd known that there were witch doctors, I would not. So I was ignorant of the lion. So if you have an opportunity to buy land, you buy it. Even if you have no use for it, buy it. Make sure you're not buying mpeo, bajita mpeo. Togula mpeo. Get a surveyor, get a lawyer, do everything you can do in your power. Osirike. 10, 15 years from now, whether you like it or not. Let me tell you where we stayed there in Kitende. We bought a total of about 35 million. It's about a quarter an acre. It's not big. And even that 35 million, we are paying bits, 2 million here, what? When I talked to the guy the first time, he said, hey, he's my OB, he says, bring money, bring money. I said, I have 4 million. He said, bring. So the land of 35 million, I started buying with 4 million. So I gave him the 4 million. Then I went, struggled, looked for a loan, gave him some more, I think 10 million. I don't know whether I cleared the rest or not. I'm not so sure. Because I kept giving him 500, 1 million, and then one time I told him, no, I am tired. Then he said, it's okay. That's the power of social capital. We were friends. We had known each other for long. Now, my neighbor, who hasn't developed his plot properly, do you know how much he was pricing it? 200 million. Same size, same place. And by the way, it's not 10 years since. So, educate yourself. I think that's what I can say. Finance. When you get some money, of course people tell you live below your means. I know they work. Save. The Bible says look at the ants. They save for their food during the what? The summer. Because when the winter comes, they will need the what? The story of Joseph, we all know. The 7 years of plenty, 7 years of hunger. When there was a lot, he saved up. When the hunger came, he was able to sell. He leveraged. So there are scriptures to support everything. The scriptures to support investment. Ecclesiastes 11. Ecclesiastes 11. The Good News Bible says invest your money in many businesses. So invest. And it says invest in 7 years, 8 ventures. Because you do not know which one will yield. And he actually says that if you wait for the perfect timing, you will never do anything. Go and read Ecclesiastes 11. So if we, speculators, they are called forex traders. Tulindeko, dole egenda kugwa. Tulindeko. You don't speculate. You are a consistent investor. Invest in many things. Not only real estate. Yes, you can do the bonds. You can do the trusts. You can do real estate. You can buy shares in companies. You can, there's so many things. Okay? So educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Okay? That's all I can say. I could talk until the birds begin to rooster. And God bless you.
Yes, please. Come on, can we just give a round of applause to Dr. Ben? I told you he's a gold mine, a big gold mine. We've just scratched the surface. Doctor, we are going to go into a session of asking questions. I'm very sure as you were speaking, these young minds were having so many questions. Same with Sulaina, she was speaking. I'm very sure you also had questions. So before we have our meal, because we did not really keep time, it is not breakfast. Now it is called what? It is called brunch. So they are preparing it out there, and we will have ushers coming and waiting on us and getting exactly what we want to take. But very crucial that we get in our questions before we can let our speakers go, because they kept time. Please, let's give them a round of applause. And I'm very sure they have programs after this. So please, let's keep our questions concise, precise, and I'm very sure we don't have secretive questions where we need cheats to be passed on for you guys to write. Yeah? When it comes to money, the good thing is it is out there. Yeah? If someone wants money, they come, they ask. So let's not be secretive about our questions. Let's be bold. Let's be clear. You get up and then you ask the question. Now, the person who's going to moderate our session is one of us, and he is the CEO, he is the MD of Godline Circle. Come on, let's give a round of applause to Ivan as he comes. So our panel is going to be right in front here. We are going to request, just so that the camera is right, able to pick you. Please just come in front here, and then Ivan will be taking on the session. Let's give another round of applause to Ivan.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord once again. Indeed, I am very, very blessed to be here this morning. Is it morning or afternoon? And a lot has been said. Personally, as a person who is into finance and also who is working in the area of finance, I can't say that I haven't gotten a master's out of this session. The master's at this session, master's information. So if you give me a master's right now, I say I qualify, because the information that has come indeed has taken us to another level. And forums like these are not quite often. They come once in a while. And when they do come, and the people that come, an example of Mr. Olugembe, what he has spoken out for me, it is, I believe my work ethic has improved automatically. Like without even him doing anything. He didn't have to come to my office. Just his words are enough to push me forward. So I was meant to say something about Godlines, but I think I'll leave that for the end of the session. I would like to engage more of our panelists here. And I'll be just doing simple prompts, but most of the information, most of the questions are going to be coming from you. Definitely we have Madame Sulaina from UAP, and our very own Dr. Benke, who is going to be also, who has shared with us tremendously. But before I invite them in, I'll just share briefly from my end. I got my first job in 2009. I was in second year campus at that time. And it was a loans officer job. I was working for a company called Bayport Financial Services. Very, very hard company to sell. Very hard to sell. If you know a company which is hard to sell, that one was hard. Yeah? Imagine you're selling money, but wherever you go, they're just chasing you. That was how hard it was to sell that company. But my experience in that area, because I moved on from Bayport, I went into insurance, I worked with NIC, I worked with Jubilee Life, and then finally God brought me to Godline Circle. But in those years, if the information that was passed on down here, I had it back then, I wouldn't be the kind of person I would have been, let's say, 10 times better than I am. I will emphasize more on Dr. Ben's point of upgrading yourself, because I got my degree. I first did my diploma, and I got my degree in 2015. But it is until last year that I said, let me go back for my master's. Okay? So I'm now in my second year doing my master's in banking and investment at Makerere University Business School. So do not stop. You don't stop studying. Studying goes on continuously. So I believe you guys have questions, okay? And we'll be, I think we have, do you have another microphone here, or shall we be speaking from, there's another microphone. Yeah? So, but as we get the questions and as they're coming, I would like just to pose a few prompts, and I'll begin with Madame Sulaina. Why do I call her Sulaina? Madame Sulaina, you did a wonderful presentation about trusts, funds, and investments. And I would like to bring in to pause, because these are young people. Trusts and investment are barely 2 decades old. I remember when I was doing my COP, that is in 2011, that is when they just introduced life. That is when they separated life and general insurance. But the question when is it the right time to start planning for retirement? Is it too early? Actually, it's two-way. Can it be too early or too late to plan for retirement?
Thank you very much. When is the right time? I'll answer 2 questions. When is the right time to start investing? It's yesterday. Yeah. When is the right time to start planning retirement? As soon as you get that appointment letter. Yeah. Just look at the exit door. The moment they give you this job, think about what happens when you leave that job. Because you could leave any day. It could be tomorrow and they are saying, things have changed. They talked about Trump, yeah? Whatever happened, some of those people didn't know that the organization they had been in for the last 10 years could become extinct, yeah? It could be the kind of profession you're in and it doesn't exist anymore and they don't need you because you're not upgrading and you hadn't planned for retirement. So it can be forced retirement sometimes, but also you could plan to retire early. That's why I was talking about passive income. If it has grown to a certain extent, you're able to invest in real estate, rent is coming through, you don't need to work to make the money. Why don't you leave the jobs for the other people to be blessed so you can do other things? So retirement can come as soon as possible. Start thinking about it as soon as today. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was so you know the right time to start retirement. To plan, really, to plan for retirement is right now. Because
may I say something?
Yes, please.
So that's a statement, and I think it's valid. But if we talk the numbers, I did some math. I know the YDX. So, when can we say you qualify to retire? If your passive income can pay all your living bills, that means that you can live without working. So you're then ready to retire. So as long as you need to work to live, then you're not yet ready to retire. So even as you're planning, whether you start tomorrow or today or yesterday, the idea should be that you've created enough things that give you money with you not having to work that can actually pay for all your expenses. Okay? And you know, if you have children, you have parents to look after, as long as your money can pay all those things without you having to work. Like you can sit home from the beginning of the year to the end, and the money is coming in and it is taking care of everything, then you are ready to retire. That is the one where you do voluntary retirement. Otherwise, the one that is normal is when you clock 60, they expect you to get out of office. So you have also to plan to get out of office at some point. However, you also have to think of what you will do. Because it's not just about sitting home and eating, because you must, the reason some people refuse to leave office is not because they don't have money, but because they don't have what they are going to, something meaningful. So again, in planning for retirement, you don't only plan for money, but you also plan for what will keep you busy. Even if it brings in money, great. If it doesn't, but at least it keeps you busy and going. Yeah. And in that light, there is something called a rainy day. Saving for what? Now, these guys in finance, me, I'm not from finance, but I have a few friends like these guys who usually talk to me about money. So I have a cousin who is the head of, I think, Deposit Protection Fund. He used to work with Bank of Uganda. He left. He told me that at any one time, you must have some liquidity that is equivalent to at least 6 months of your survival. At any one time. Of course, that is hard. Like, naturally speaking, it's not easy to keep money worth 6 months of your survival. But the idea is that work towards, for instance, if you lose a job, you know, when you lose a job today, you're not going to get another one tomorrow. My brother lost a job and he took 9 months without a job. What do you do? How do you pay your rent? How do you eat? How do you move around? How do you buy toothpaste to brush your teeth? So you need a fund that can take in that shock. And because it's estimated you roughly take between 6 months to 1 year to get the next job. So you need to save some money around 6 months to 1 year. Of course, when you're talking these things and the people earn little money, it doesn't make sense. The man says, I barely survive. Now you are telling me to save. I can only make money enough to go through the month. If they don't pay me the next month, it is a disaster. It is understandable. Now, what that simply means is that you really have to work on your income. You need to find mechanisms of increasing your what? So that your income exceeds your expenditure. Because, even when we say live within your means, you cannot live so much. A decent house costs how much? 500,000? So, we're not going to tell you to pay a house of 100,000. That's living in a ghetto. You're beyond living in a ghetto. You understand? So there are certain decencies that you need around you. So you need to just work a little bit more so that you're earning more than you need to spend. And then when you begin earning more than you need to spend, that is the money now. So it is creating a surplus. I don't know whether I make a point. Then it is that surplus then that you begin to do the things of planning for retirement, rainy day, investing, what. I think that's what I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you very much. Please another hand clap for Dr. Ben. Okay, so please take in this information because the earlier you put these things into practice, some of us are regretting why we didn't begin these things early. Because imagine 2009 and now we are in 2025. Yeah? So you can imagine. So if you have the opportunity now, please take it into place. But still, I want to come back again to that point of planning for your retirement and that monthly cash flow. The challenge we have with our society, the society here in Uganda, is that, let me use an example. I'm part of a savings group, a Powesa savings group that I was put into. I've been part of it for now 10 years, and 25,000 per week. And we've been doing it weekly. We are 30 people, and in the last 10 years, we've been able to put aside about 690 million, just 30 people. But now, here comes the challenge. You're talking about idle money in the bank. And because the people are diverse, somebody from UAP came and was advising us to put our money in the money in a unit trust. Because I understood it, I supported it. The 16 who didn't understand it said, "Abubafere, mujukira bino bya dunamis, semi crypto, bebo." They cut it out. How can you address that? Because these are young people, they're also hearing those things, that when you put your money in a scheme, they are going to lose it. So how can you have that addressed?
I think the very first step is educating people. Yeah? If the 16 who said no were part of such a group of people who attend talks like this one, they would also be on the side that says yes. Why? Because when an opportunity to share knowledge comes through, I advise every young person to take it up. Some could be free, some could be paid for, but I believe in high ticket opportunities. If something is paid for, please attend. Yeah? Don't say it's expensive. This is you paying for knowledge. Because these organizations are there, they are regulated, they will be advertised on TV, but how much time do you even have to watch TV or even listen to radio? You're busy at work making that money that you're going to, in the end, invest. Make time to acquire knowledge. They were talking about using social media to market yourselves and all that. I advise that you manage your search engine optimization. Some of you are Googling shoes, celebrities in town, and your search engine will definitely focus on that. Every time you go on TikTok, you'll only see boutiques talking about shoes or soccer or anything. You will never see anything about financial literacy. because you've never Googled that, you've never searched that, your phone doesn't know that. So if you're intentional, even the friends you make will be friends who are telling you about where they are investing, this new product they heard about, or this talk that happened at their organization, or inviting you for this particular conference. I mean, who invited a friend here today? Or you just woke up in the morning and came independently? Yeah? Who invited a friend? Because I tell people, I am not a pastor, but I believe in using the knowledge I have to minister to young people and everyone around me. If I influence just one person in a day to understand how best they can manage their investments or how to start their journey of passive income and wealth generation, I know I have done good by God. So for you as an individual, as a young person, are you holding someone's hand? If you're coming in such a gathering, are you telling a friend that, oh, please wake up, it's time? They start at 9 a.m., we need to be on time so we don't miss anything. Are you even taking notes to be able to ask questions? Or you're just here because, oh, my pastor needs to see me in the room. Yeah, he needs to be sure I was there. But have you even taken notes? Do you even know the speakers by name by now? If we've been here for, say, 3-4 hours, do you even know us yet? Yeah? Are you Googling some of the terms that you hear that don't make so much sense? Are you trying to Google them to understand? When they said passive income, what did it mean? Yeah? So you get it in different, maybe, dictionary definitions. So it's really very important for young people to acquire as much knowledge. Even for the adults, let's share the knowledge we have. But also one thing I've realized in our communities, most of the people I meet, every time you say have a conversation, say with doctor here, and you're telling him, oh, you need an education policy, blah, blah, blah. He's like, let me talk to my wife. And then you find wife already has a policy, but didn't tell husband. Why? People are concealing knowledge, which is wrong. If you're concealing from your spouse, what's the guarantee that you'll even call your matron, who should be your best friend? Or even your OBs and OJs? Are you sharing this information with them? No, you're being selfish. And how shall we grow? Yeah? That's it.
Very, 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 very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, so...
Let me give you a testimony.
Yes.
So when I started working, I bumped into guys like these ones many years ago. They taught me so many things. Unit trusts, bonds, treasury bills, shares, what? I tried shares. The Ugandan Stock Exchange is hopeless. Gave up. I tried unit trusts. That time there was African Alliance. I could get my 100K, which I have managed to save off my salary. I put there. Then when the month ends, I see 100 shillings. I said, these things are fake. I removed my money. I ate it. People, bonds, they told us you need a lot of money, bonds, you need like 20 million, 50. I didn't have that money. So I actually never went into bonds, and I tried a bit of treasury bills. Treasury bills, the problem with treasury bills is they give you your profits in advance. So you eat the money before. So I gave up on those things. Fast forward 2022 into 2024. 2022, 31st December 2022. One of my friends who studied with him works in Nairobi. He's an interventional radiologist, super specialized guy. So he came around and we met with him. We spoke from 4 p.m. up to midnight. We were three guys. We sat at a hotel in Machinye there. In fact, the fireworks found us there. I was sitting like this. This man told us that he has invested in treasury bonds. And he told me that as of today, I don't have to work to live. And all the money that, he said, if I want, in a month, I get dividends of $20,000 out of bonds. $20,000 is about 80 million. Now, if you're getting 80 million a month, you really don't have to work. Eh? 80 million. Some of us don't make 80 million in 10 years. But he was making it out of bonds. You understand? Man, you see, I already had the knowledge, but I'd never met a guy who is doing it. I left that place. I told him, neighbor, I'm going to start. I started. I did what? We keep living. The income is the same. We have children to educate. We have a lot of responsibilities. But when you have a focus, for some reason you find the money. And I gave myself a target. Said, each year I must invest at least amount X in these bonds. Each year. I didn't have the money, by the way. But let me tell you, for the past 2 years, I have been able to, even the target for this year, I finished. I finished last month. I'm now looking for money to begin on the target for. And as they bring, my target is that in the next 10 years, I should be getting at least 50 million shillings a year. Yeah, I'm not for 8 a month. I'm still at 50 a year because my calculation is 50 a year is 4 million shillings a month. Now, really, if I can't survive on 4 million shillings, there's a problem. I don't know whether you get the argument. So for me, what transformed that thing was actually interacting with somebody who was actually done it. You understand? So it works. I'm here to testify that how things work. I joined these guys can come and market until you buy. So I bought a policy. I think I was depositing about 1.2 per month. And it was a lot of money. But because I wanted at the end, I told them at the end I want 100 million. I said, so how much do I have to deposit? They said, pay 1.2 per month. These guys won't tell you if you default for 3 months, they take your money. Hey, you default for 3 months, you're not paying, they take your money. So I had to fight. I had to what? To make sure I don't default. I paid my money diligently. It was hard. Let me tell you, taking that money to that place is hard. It feels like you're giving. At the end of 5 years, I got my 100 million. I got it. And when I got it, I put it somewhere else. Okay? Now, something that many of these people don't tell us, these guys who work in banks. The government only guarantees up to 10 million for your savings in the bank, for deposits. So if you put 100 million in a bank and then it collapsed, you can only get back 10 million. The other 90 is potea. So in other words, don't park your money in the bank. Rather give it to her in UAP. There's a little bit more. It's insurance anyway, so I don't know whether I'm making a point. Don't park your money in the bank. Because once it's above 10 million, anything beyond 10 million, and you people think it's a myth. There was a bank which was closed recently. Not Crane Bank. Crane Bank is old. Recently, I think even last year. Yeah, Mercantile Bank. So I went to meet Packers, a Rufla, in town, to buy meat for my dogs. And the whole market was in trouble. Because they were all putting their money there. The bank had been closed. And now, we are calling these people. They are not picking our phones. So 2 things. By the way, so if your savings is above 10 million, you can only get back. But also, the nominal saver, fee, inayoka savings account, muntu wawansi, you are the last to be considered. When a bank closes, you are the last. They first deal with the big investors, the shareholders. Once all those ones are covered, then they say, okay, how much is remaining? How many people? How many? Yeah, we have so many. Okay, how many had 100,000? Those ones, give them. How many had 50? Like that. Then, until they reach the ones of 10 million. You understand? So these banks are nice, they keep our money, but if it collapses, you are the last to be compensated. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, we thank God that at God Lines we also have a unit trust where we put our savings. So this is Sigarao. No, it doesn't remain there. Thank you very much. So I would like to start welcoming questions from the audience. And if you have a question, please raise up your hand. Yes, then you can start. Let's start with Seb.
Yeah, I was listening to Doctor, and you happened to speak about investing in yourself and also investing in assets, like maybe studying masters if you have undergraduate, then going for masters, or in case you can buy a piece of land, you can do that. Then the question comes, what is the best way, like in case, let me use me as an example. I have two options. I can either buy the piece of land, or I can either invest in my personal development. What should I prioritize?
Praise the Lord. Yeah, one of the things I'd want to talk about is prioritizing. I think somewhere in the Proverbs, the Bible says that first sort out your garden, what before you. Okay? So there is a point in prioritizing. And I think I would be lying to you if I said that choose land over school or choose school over land. Because at the end of the day, it is you, as the individual. It is you to sit down and look at your options. Okay? As an individual, you look at what? The options you have and why you want to buy the land or why you want to go to school. One person could easily tell you, go to school, because then you're increasing your ability. Like you go to school, hopefully you'll get a better job, have bigger income, then you'll even be able to buy bigger land. Okay? Another person might tell you, but going to school does not guarantee a better job. So buy land. Then it appreciates, you sell, then you go to school. Like both of them actually can have a goal. So it really depends on you as an individual, what weighs in. And this is the thing, people should not, I was going to say people should not advise you, but I think the idea is seek knowledge, seek counsel, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. You have to weigh the options of what has been told to you, and then you look for the best. What is the best option? You look at opportunity cost. If you go to school, what does it mean? If you buy the land, what does it mean? And then you iterate a bit, and then you make the decision. I think that's the answer I can give you. I cannot stand here and say that you are better off buying land than buying unit trusts, for instance. I cannot say that, because we all have different priorities, different goals, different ambitions, different objectives. I may not have been helpful, but it is what it is. You have to sit yourself and you make the decision. And unfortunately, let me tell you an example. When I finished my PhD, I was very broke. The stipend is finished. The Makerere salary was 1.2. I had 4 children who have to go to school. I got a job in the Gambia. Gambia is in West Africa. So the question was, do I go or do I stay? Very difficult decision to make. You don't have a job. We went to West Africa with my wife. Found the schools are hopeless. They said, oh, we shall pay your children's fees. But the money they could pay would take them to local schools where they teach Mandika. My children are not from West Africa. They can't learn Mandika. And the money they were paying was not enough. It was difficult because I needed money. but also going to West Africa when you've just returned from a PhD. 1 month of returning, you have to go away from your family. He said, oh, you can bring your family. When I went to West Africa, I said, I can't bring my children here. You can't. By the way, Uganda is very nice. It is very nice. Truly. You know, guys, Kujeregawa Airport, you need to go to West Africa and see those airports. You realize that you have gold here. These countries are hopeless. A country that imports tomatoes, imports onions, imports eggs. Uganda, you guys are gifted by nature. So I couldn't take my children to such a country where they imported. The only thing they have is fish from the Atlantic Ocean and rice. So it was difficult for me to make that decision. I had to make a decision. Of course, yours is a bit challenging. I decided, let me go. Because we needed the what? The money. Children eat money. Yeah? They drink milk, you use money to buy milk. Eh? Yeah, you don't tell them the things of faith, what. All they know is milk. Eh? You can use your faith whichever way, but what they understand is. But when I reached Gambia, within 2 days, I knew I should not be in Gambia. Within 2 days, I knew I should not be there in Gambia. So, after 5 days, I went to the human resource. I told them, I want to go back home. Yeah. I said, what's the problem? I said, there are family issues. Of course, I was missing my wife and children. But maybe that was a scapegoat. But it was the only one they were going to believe. So they tried, because we had been arguing about the money, the salary. I'm telling them, you're giving me little money. I can't work for this money. They said, but that's the money, you know. If we give you more money, we'll be setting a precedence as an institution. I told them, the money you're paying me, I was paid 10 years ago. So I can't. You're asking me to work. You're giving me all these responsibilities, but paying me as a pauper. Right? So we argued. They refused to increase the money. I told them I want to go home. To cut the long story short, they tried, kept me around for another 1 week. I refused. I said, I want to go home. So I came back home to nothing. You understand? So that's where now issues of priorities, goals, objectives, they drive a lot of these things. So when I came home, God is funny. Within a week, my sister-in-law sends me a WhatsApp message of a job advert. I applied for the job. The job looked nice and big. It fitted my pedigree as a PhD man, you know. So I applied for the job. I went for the interviews. They gave me funny things. So then they said, oh, this is theory. When you pass, we'll invite you for the oral interview. I did the interview. Then they didn't invite me for the orals. They said they would invite you at 2 p.m. So once it came to 2:30, they've not called me. I knew that is a gone case. At 6 o'clock, they called me. So I had to reorganize myself and rush to Naguru. I couldn't drive, so I took a border. I reached Naguru. The first question I asked them, but who asks people to do these things? Because I'm thinking, the things you asked me to do are so low. And it looked like the job is very what? Very big. And so I said, who still does that? You know, when they come and they ask you to do things of, like in 2015, and this is 2025. So I asked them that in the interview. They were asking me questions. So anyway, they gave me the job. I went to Ginger, and I realized the job is for a bachelor's person. It was for what? So I'm sitting in office with guys with bachelors. I have a PhD. You understand? So I was there. I worked. Of course, you have meetings. You ask these questions. You ask the boss that, this. Within 2 months, the boss called me and said, we realized that we are underutilizing you. So they promoted me. You understand? So the things that drive our objectives or drive our decisions are really personal things. I think at that point, I wasn't so much interested in doing a job of a PhD. The most important thing was I have a salary to feed my what? My family. You understand? So any job that came that looked decent, I was going to to do it. As a matter of fact, before that job came, the Kalito man had been saving, was getting finished. I'd considered to start driving a Uber. Yeah, because I have a car, I know how to drive. So, go register with Uber, you know, hang around town, somebody, it rings, you take them, they give you a 10K. What's wrong with that? Of course, when I told my brother, he's like, you man, are you serious? But I was very serious. So the things that drive what we do are the objectives. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, another round of applause for Dr. Ben. Yeah, so we are going to take 2 more questions, and then we... Oh, God, there are many. Okay, so... yeah, okay, yes.
My question was, they've talked about unit trusts, but you didn't actually explain it in depth, exactly what it is. And like you said, it starts from, you start earning when you have 100,000 in your bank. So I was asking, if I put my 100,000 in the bank, what is the profit maybe? Because the profit margin of maybe after a month. Yes, then the other thing was, since most of us here, our jobs are not very big, and we would like to invest maybe in bills and bonds, what exactly can we do to achieve that? Maybe not in 5 years after maybe we've got those big jobs, or maybe we've earned that big income, but start from now, and we also invest in the bills and bonds. And how do you get the information of the available bills and bonds?
Could I combine some questions so that we answer it once?
Yeah, protocol observed. My name is Mutiaba Peter. I have 2 questions. Firstly, one would be, why would we consider UAP over other bank entities or insurance? And more so, for the sake of financial growth, how would we advise someone who has not got the privilege to go to school? They are starting from zero, and they are not to look at those office works, and they are doing these manual works, freelancing around. So how would you give a hope to help someone grow financially in that scenario? Because life is unpredictable. We are not at the same levels of privileges. Maybe some don't go through school and others go through school. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Sechide Martin, and I'm a visual artist. Yeah, so I would like to ask, I have 3 questions. The first one goes to Doctor. Doctor, you talked about a time whereby you were having a job, but you felt like you wanted to go to Makerere to teach those kids. My question is, what was the feeling behind you going? Was it a feeling of purpose that you felt like you needed to pass out the knowledge? Was it that you wanted to gain the skill that was there in relating with the people and teaching, or did you see it that it might happen in front there that you needed to have backup? That's my first question. The second question is, they've talked about UAP, and I think he has talked about it, that there are these other entities. For example, there's this one which is called MTN Investor. I don't know whether you've heard of it, but when I checked, actually, it almost has the same rates with UAP. I don't know, you can educate me. It was also saying that it's a 12% per annum, right? And currently it's the one that I'm using. So is it kind of risky for me to be using my MTN Investor, and UAP, does it have more privileges than that? Then the third one, which is the last, is for the people who are autodidact people or self-taught people, for example, a visual artist, because the way I've been seeing it, most of the things are like the people who are like, employee, you can go seek for a job, be employed. Okay, even me, I can be employed as, let me say, like a teacher, but not at this point at a high institution. You need to add on some, let me say, education certificate. But I have a bachelor's in commercial arts, so I can teach, and I work with HSACATE to teach, to pass on the knowledge, so I can pass on my knowledge. But then the question is, for the people who are in the creatives, for example, who get money on deals, it's not a monthly payment, it's on deals. What knowledge do you give me on like managing my money? For example, like the savings part, right? Because there are times that are going to reach, for example, like how Mr. Chikare said that you start taking off the savings, you start to eat off on the savings. So what knowledge, what advice would you give a person like that to stabilize their savings? Thank you so much.
Yes. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Kakande Ian Matthew, and I'll have one question. My question would be, we as the young people, when is the right time? Okay, like for someone, I call myself a certified Mujidivi or a hustler, and I think one of the things I look out to, literally, people that have made it, as the big man I found speaking said, the principles. And sometimes we are tempted to go out and borrow money. Now, what comes as a risk is we do not know the right calls to make towards borrowing money. And sometimes it is over rational idea like adrenaline, and you have made your calculations, and you feel like this is going to work out. Let me borrow money, invest it here, do this, and do that. I am very, 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 when it comes to business, I am very, very, I would say active person or enthusiast when it comes to business kind of part. And one of the things I have not literally, it gives me hard time is like when to borrow. Because at a time, there's something that happened and I was like, okay, I wish I borrowed, I would literally go that way. But I could not have the courage to call that shot. I feared the lion. But are there principles we would look at? Is there a guidance to which like you would look at and you're like, yo, by the way, at this point, you borrow. When you feel this way, when you look at a situation this way, you borrow. And given the fact that we are young, we do not have a lot to leverage, like, this and that. But when should we know, when should it be in our mind that this is worth a risk taking? Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we shall take those questions for now. So I believe your questions have been noted, and I'll begin with Madam Sulaina for the questions that were sent to you.
Thank you very much. I think I'll start with the lady's question about details about the unit trust. So what I just shared was for us to have an idea so that when we are ready, we know where to go, but also who to reach out to, yeah? There is a lot that can be shared, but of course our time is fast spent. But in brief, a unit trust is a collective investment scheme where different people trust a fund manager, give them their money, and allow that person to invest the money and guarantee interest every day. It's daily compound interest. Minimum investment is 100,000. Interest is about 10 to 12.5% per annum. Broken down to per month and then per day. So ideally per month, that would be about 1,000 in interest. The more you put, the better for you. So the goal is not for you to put 100,000 and sleep. The goal is for you to even put 100,000 every day, 1 million, 5 million, and much more. So you're able to make money. Emphasizing 100,000 is so that you don't fail to start. Yeah, it shouldn't be a hindrance for you to start because you think you need 5 million to make money. The same way he failed many years ago because he put 100,000 and it didn't make sense. But later someone gave a testimony and he realized I should have pushed on. I should have been consistent. Yeah, those are the principles they shared earlier when John was talking about consistency, taking value for your time and knowing that if I use this time to make this much money, then I can invest it and it will give value to me. Yeah. So we'll have more discussions on this. When do you start? Start as soon as you have money. You can open a unit trust anytime. You don't need to wait for you to have a lump sum. Use it as a collection point to actually raise the lump sum. John mentioned earlier, also Dr. Ben has emphasized the need for you to consider investing in real estate. I think everyone should invest in real estate because, for example, in Uganda, land is not going to increase, but the value for it will increase. The population is growing. So the only way to protect your wealth is by having as much land as possible. But how do you acquire it? You won't use 100,000 to buy land. But you can get a unit trust of 100,000, keep topping up, and in a year maybe you have 20 million or 15, and it can buy land somewhere. Even if it's in Gulu, it will have value 10 years later. Yeah? Gulu is figure of speech. It could be any village. Yeah. So someone asked why UAP. Why UAP? I have worked with UAP for the last 10 years. I have witnessed people benefit from it. There are many testimonies out there. I've walked a journey with many people. I have been a beneficiary myself, but also not to say that the other companies are not good enough. For example, you're investing with MTN Investor Plus. It's a good scheme as well. Once a scheme is regulated by Bank of Uganda, Capital Markets Authority, and OBRA, you're safe to go. Yeah? Just check on the regulations. If they are regulated, you invest there. Don't worry. You don't have to come to Old Mutual because Sulaina was here. Go to any company that is regulated. But also, if someone tells you about the company they are with, I mean, why don't you trust them? Yeah, so I think that's my answer, because I don't want to come off biased because that's where I work, but I've also invested with them, and there are people in the room who have invested with them and they've benefited from them and they've been paid. I mean, if you've given them 1.2 for the 5 years and they give you your money, there is a person today I'll talk to and tell them, oh, you invest 1.2, 5 years from now they'll pay, and they're like, oh, are you lying? But someone has experienced it. Yeah. So what better testimony do you need than a person who has walked that journey and thrived through it? I don't know if I've missed any other question. I think the others will be handled by Dr. here. Is that okay?
All right. Thank you, Selena. Yeah.
Thank you. These are difficult questions. But I think I'll begin with the guy who was asking about Mark, eh? Yeah. One of my sisters, we're discussing bonds. In my world, you must have the money to buy the bond. Yeah. So one of those days we're in town having lunch, and she goes, I'm going to borrow 20 million, and I put in a bond. I said, are you okay? He said, yeah. I said, why? He said, but you're borrowing at 18% to invest in something that is going to give you at best 15%. He said, yeah. I said, what does that mean? He said, you see, I'm going to take 20 million at 18%, and I'll pay it for 2 years to be out of the way. But the bond that is giving me 15% is giving me 15% for 20 years. Huh? You understand? You work in town. So, town has Bayiribi, like you say. Eh? So, guys, I work for a research institution. And you call bids. So for instance, we want somebody to supply us with laboratory reagents. And the guys put in they apply. And you give them the deal. And they don't have money. But they've taken the what? And this deal is like 100 million. But they don't have the money. Then they go and they begin looking for the money. They say, we shall deliver in a month. They look they know for them it's 100 million. But they know that they can get it at 60 million. So they look for the 60 million. They buy the thing. They deliver. We pay them 100 million. They give the guy his 60 and he makes his 40. You remember when I said that capital is a what? Is a mind thing. So in other words, you need to think. I'm not saying take every risk the way it comes. Appraise the risk. See where the opportunity is. Okay? So the problem is actually not lack of money. The problem is our thinking. Like literally. I mean, I was there telling me, I don't have money this time, so I'm not going to buy bonds. She said, I'm going to borrow. And she borrowed, by the way, and bought the bonds. When I met with John, he said, you know, people say that bite what you can chew. And he said, no, you need to bite more than you can chew. He said, when you're making a decision, money should not be the factor. First, decide what you want. Then understand how much money it needs. Then go and look for the money. Okay? So you need to be able to appraise the risk by yourself, what you can take. So in other words, so the lady who was saying, oh, for us who are little earners, I think don't borrow for speculative investment. For instance, when a company is offering an IPO, and I don't know whether you talked about IPOs, but if a company is offering its shares at the start, usually that is the lowest a share can what? Can go for. So some people actually borrow. They borrow a lot, and they come because they know the moment it goes to the stock exchange, the money is going to do what? To go up. You need trust anytime. So if you're in a gig economy and you land a deal, they always say pay yourself first. They always say save before you spend. So take off some money and take it to the unit trust. Take off some money. If you can pay for some bills up front, you pay for those bills. Like rent.
The information I've gotten here this morning is not, it seems common, but not very common to everyone. And know that Dr. Ben and Sulainia are there to be accessed. You may try finding them after today, and you may not be able to get them. So you can't take this opportunity for granted. Okay? So let us appreciate them. Yeah. Yeah. So this is how I want us to end, and. Because one of the things that you have talked about is that you have to start, okay? Because every point they have put here is you have to start somewhere. 100,000, whatever it is that you are doing, you have to start somewhere. And one of the things that here as Omega Healing Center that we did is that we began a circle for you guys where you can start practicing these principles before you go into the marketplace, okay? So this is a good ground for you to start. And when you start by practicing these principles at Go Lanes here, because we began this circle as 30 individuals, 30 youth, okay? That was in 2011. 30 youth began this circle. And that's the power of youth when they come together. And right now as I speak, because we are still, moreover, we are just limited within the setting of Omega Healing Center. We are over 700 members now in the circle. Okay? That is the power of youth. And not just that, the people who began in less than 5 million in 1 year, yeah? Right now, if I combine our savings, I combine our loan portfolio, I combine the investments we have in the unit trust, I can confidently tell you that we are standing over 1 billion right now. So, it is a good place to start practicing. It's not the only place. And for this month, we've even made it even more easy for you guys that the youth, we have a promo for you. I have my board members here with me. Mr. John Ahimbisibo is right there, and also Pastor Brian is right behind there. Those are our board members, okay? And the good thing, Pastor Brian is a youth pastor here. So we are making it easy for you to start practicing disciplines, because the one thing I've learned over the years, it is, I think it has become also like my motto, is how you do anything is how you do everything, okay? When the Bible says those that are trusted with a little, okay, when you are faithful in the small, you'll also be trusted in much. So if you can't save 1,000 shillings, you will not save 1 million. That one will not work. If you cannot invest 100,000, you will not invest 100 million. Okay? Do we all tithe here? Do we all tithe? We all tithe. You know, if you can't tithe on the million, you will not tithe on the 100 million. Okay? So the principle operates everywhere. And as we are making sure, because we may not do what UAP is doing, but at least we want to give you the advantage of being able to start to walk into that direction. So at the end of this, we have, the promo is still running, I think up to the end of this month. We've cut the opening fees from 57,000 down to 27,000 just for you, the youth, okay? So that you're able to start knowing what it's like to start saving. And when you're finally able to open up your unit trust in UAP, it's something that you're literally just crossing over into something that you've already been practicing, okay? Don't, it is an issue, our institution is managed by professionals. I've told you I'm a person who has my master's. I have over 18 years in the finance, so you don't have to worry about money getting lost. Yeah? You don't have to worry about, we are very, very, let me use the word, we are liquidity conscious, okay? That is why we've been able to stay and survive for the last 15 years and as an institution without ever closing, okay? So the opportunity is there. Please grab it. We have forms right here. Start practicing these principles. Otherwise, let's not be those people who go, get information, leave it there and do nothing with it. Because next year again, when we invite them, they want to come back and find something different, okay? She wants to come back next year and be like, yeah, Solania, when you came, I was inspired. I opened an account in Godlines. I've been able to save my 5 million. Can you take it? Yeah? Don't you see? Okay? I want Dr. Ben to come back next year and you're giving him a testimony of how you've been able to go back and get your degree, to get your master's. Okay? So don't keep the information here. Yeah? Don't keep the information here. Please take it. Apply it, and the good thing, you have Pastor Marvin, you have Pastor Brian behind there, you have me here who is here full time. You can always reach out to us. Even when these people here come, we are here to support you, to make sure that your financial lives become better and better every other day. So can we give a round of applause for the organizing team? Okay? Yes. Selena wants to say something. She wants to say something.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to give my part in short. I want to thank Pastor Marvin for inviting me. Speaking to young people gives me so much pleasure because sometimes I wish I had this opportunity when I was your age. I think the first time I heard about the word IPO and investments was when a lady from NSSF, I've never met her, I need to meet her. She's called Barbara. Came to our school as an entrepreneurship class and she was just talking about investments. So my entire journey in, that was S5. So S6, VAC, I was looking for a place to buy shares, but I didn't have money. Every time I told my parents, I want to go to NSSF, they told me they sell shares there. She's like, no, first get a job and do think about that. And it kind of made sense. And the beauty is the first job I got was in Old Mutual, where it's really a place where that happened. So it was a blessing in disguise, but what I wanted to mention to all of us, let's dream big. If your dream doesn't scare you enough to wake you up at night, so you can start working and chasing it, then you're not dreaming. So the whole idea of saying, oh, my business is small, oh, this is this, what are you doing about it? how are you pushing yourself to be better? So let's work hard as young people. Let's be consistent. Yeah, start small. Don't wait to be wealthy without making any steps. There are no miracles like that. Pray, but also work. John emphasized earlier, if you have an exam on Monday, you're not going to be praying and praying and praying without reading and reading and reading. Do both so you're able to balance your time and achieve your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ben, can you also give us some parting shots?
I think for me, it's a prayer that we will all advance in our lives. That is my prayer. And that advance, there is a God aspect to it, but there is also a part you have to play. And I want to encourage you to work hard, read hard, express yourself, and let the Lord do what you cannot do. Eh? Let the Lord bring the opportunity, but when the opportunity comes, you wing it. Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you, Marvin, for this opportunity once again. We are blessed.
Thank you very much. At this point, I'm going to invite Pastor Brian, who is going to help us wind up this wonderful session. Please, a round of applause for Pastor Brian.
This is very informative. Allow me keep the mask on. Dr. Ben, we appreciate your time, the information you've also shared with us. Sulaina, happy to meet you today. Hope I'll meet you again when I meet you. This has been informative as well. Some of these things we've been hearing are more into finance practice, but every time we keep on learning. And if you do not hear from people's experiences, sometimes it's hard for you to get the motivation to be able to move forward. And as the leaders of our youth ministry here in Omega Healing Center, Pastor Marvin and myself, we have created platforms to help young people grow financially. Because Pastor Marvin and myself both are educated, we advocate for education. Like Dr. Ben has been saying, tekikujjaako nviiri okusoma, but kikugatako value. Obutamanya luzungu mu bino ebiro weesembya wekka. Kubanga things have started to change. You'll go to China, they speak English. Wherever you will go, whatever business aspect you want to engage in, you will need that common language. So, Pastor Marvin and myself, we have created business opportunities that him and myself are not engaged in. But we have pulled resources together, pulled some ideas together, and given opportunities for young people to work in. Some of the disappointments we are finding is lack of consistency, maybe because you've not put in the money so you think you can do it the way you want. Some of us have not yet tasted the bitter pill of poverty, because we are still living under someone else's roof, or we have commonized the situation and we are comfortable with being broke. That is why we work the way we work. But times and seasons begin to catch up with us. What they've been sharing, it's not that you will get rich tomorrow. Consistency is built, diligence is built. We fail, we pick up ourselves and move forward. So let us continue to work together. And with our CEO, Mr. Ivan Busisa, Godline started up 2011. We went through a training in 2010 by a lady from Uganda Investment Authority. It was just a casual training we went through. Then we started to brainstorm, what can we start? And that is how we started Godline a year later. And see how Godline has benefited some or many people. So even from this meeting, you can either choose to fail yourself or to win. So let us take the information that we've gathered. All these people have gathered the information for many years, and they have shared it in just a few minutes here. So we can see how to repackage ourselves. If we need a recess for us to chew the cud, we are available to reshare the information, draw work plans on how to achieve the goals that we ought to achieve. So with that, Sulaina, Dr. Ben, and John in his absentia, we appreciate you so very much. Thank you. Thank you for the consultancy opportunity you've given to us. We might not be able to pay up the way other corporate institutions could do, but we do not take this for granted. Thank you so very much. Another clap of applause to our people. Thank you so much. Also you, please clap for yourself. I believe that you've been able to benefit from these sessions. We are not going to stop from here. We are going to restructure our young workers platform. I know that most of the discussants have been talking about education, but we are also mindful of those who are in senior 6, but we will provoke you to go for further education. We might not provoke you to go look for a job, but provoke you to continue in your business as an educated person. So with the Young Workers platform, we are going to see how to help one another. Pastor Marvin, myself, Norman, and other team members, we are going to do a job amongst ourselves, cluster ourselves in different professions. Then we can see how we can build an empire of wealthy people. Yeah. I believe that is a good idea for us. We do not want to build beggars. Dr. Ben has talked about giving. We want to build people who are wealthy and can give. So we want to build wealth. Starting from now, it is better for you. So as we close up, we will arrange, we will keep on posting and see how to catch up with one another, build work plans, have commitment groups, commitment teams that will help follow up on one another. If you're not willing to commit, we'll give you a probational period. After that, we'll first let you be, and we move with the people who are willing to be developed. Isn't that okay? Twagambye tetwesiba ku bantu. Sikyekyo tukwata aliwo ne tusirika ne tugenda mu maaso. Kale, let us yes, Pastor Joseph atubuuzeko, he's the marketplace pastor. Ndeka atubuuzeko briefly, then we can close up.
Erinnya lya Mukama lyebazibwe. Simanyi oba anyimiridde wa, kanyimirireko wano. Praise be to God. I want to thank you for this event, and I was very happy bwe mwanyambye ku mulimu. Mukubire Marvin ne timu mu ngalo. Ya kitegedde. Amina. Ya erinnya lyange nze Musumba Joseph Tulyasingula. Nkwasaganya obuweereza bwa Marketplace Ministry. Amina. Njaga tukubire engalo mukulu Ben. Ben ono omwagala nnyo. nina ebigambo ndowooza kimu bibiri byokka then tusabe. Obuweereza buno bwa Marketplace Ministry buyamba nnyo ku mirimu gyaffe okuba nga tugisabira tusobole okuba nga tulabisa obwakabaka bwa Katonda we tukolera. Amiina. So as you young people, as you rise up to work, please I encourage you, ensure that you live godly lives and also make sure that your workplaces glorify God. Amen. And lastly, temweyunga ku bintu ebyangu ya sente nawulidde mukulu Beni ng'akikoonako. Amiina. Make sure that if you are to engage outside, temudukira mu bintu bino ebyazaala bino ebyangu ya sente amangu. Mungobera bulungi abooluganda. Live godly lives and make sure you avoid, because there is a high temptation of the young people. Ndooza mubiraba wano ku masimu babagamba manya muteekeko bino sente. Mukitega kyengamba mwewala ebintu ebyamabanja banje ebyo ebyokulya obuloonoloono ebyo ebitaliimu temujja bisobola, birina implication. Gamba konti amiina. Ekyo mukiwulira abooluganda. Na n'ekirala bye babasindikira bye bano aba Illuminati. Manya mwanguwe mufune sente. Eyo abaana mu masomero bitandise okuba affectinga. Mbeegayiridde, we are Christians, let us avoid the temptation. Amen. Otherwise, good luck.
Thank you so much, Pastor Joseph. All right, let us have a word of prayer. After this session, we are still going to have a party. It's kinda a party. It's a meet and meet. There is mochomo, nyama choma. So if you can still remain behind, please do. Let us have a word of prayer. Loving Father, we thank you for the financial literacy class that we've had this morning and afternoon. Your word says that without knowledge, your people fail or they get destroyed, Almighty King of glory. We've gathered knowledge. Give us understanding and the wisdom to be able to implement the ideas, the knowledge, the wisdom that we have acquired, Almighty King of glory. Let it be used to grow us in wealth. Teach us to accumulate riches. Teach us to accumulate wealth. Teach us to expand our territories, oh God. Give us the strength. Give us the connections. Give us the platforms, Almighty God, that will lead us to growth, Almighty God. I release a blessing over your people that makes rich and adds no sorrow. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. All right, God bless you and enjoy your weekend. Say hi to Dr. Ben. Catch up an opportunity. Oh, he's running away.